There's a ground, Monty.
When I first started playing D&D back when we were like, I don't know, 14 or something, like 13 or 14. Yeah, of course, it was from, my friend's older brother was the one that got us into it. And so, of course, we do these, oh, we want to be cool. I still remember the stats on my first second edition Paladin. He had 2 18s, 2 17s, and 2 16s.
Oh, man.
And he had a +5 Holy Avenger.
Remember
So
those
I'm sure that was legit.
Remember those 18100s that used to pop up with alarming regularity for people who rolled their character sheets outside of the DM space?
Because 18100 was just too fake.
Oh, it's like, boy,
but the 18, 17s, and 16s, and the 1895, that was.
Oh, 95, yeah. Well, there you go. I mean, that was fine. That was.
Well, you didn't want to give away that you were cheating. So you had to be slick about it.
Right. I did it. I rolled those 18100s.
1898, yeah, that's
Never
it.
rolled it. The only time I've ever seen anything approach an 18100 roll was when Steve cut off his own head on that on that mountain.
I wasn't there, but I've heard it.
So yeah. I was there, and it was crazy. So we were on this mountain, and we're getting attacked by griffins. And Steve is our friend Steve is the fighter, and he's like, "You guys get back in the mountain, get back in the cave, because we're getting smeared." And he's like, "I'll hold them off." So we used to use this old crit and fumble chart that
magazine,
that had come out of like Dragon magazine like back in the early '80s, and it was just crazy. So, and it had multiple charts and all this stuff. So he's got a two-handed sword. So he's like fighting off these things, takes a swing, fumbles away, confirms the fumble. And the way it used to work was you rolled a D100, and that would tell you what the fumble was, right? So he rolls 0-0. It's sever body part. And you have to go to a second chart at that point where he picks up the dice, rolls it again. First and only time I've ever seen this happen, rolled 0-0 again. Body part at 0-0, his head. He cut off his own head on a fumble, trying to cover our
it's probably why he only plays sorcerers from now on. He never plays fighter ever.
Can you imagine fumbling so hard you cut off your own head with your two-handed sword?
Was it in a fit of depression over the bad wrestling?
It might have been. Yeah, I think so. That's a rare cut right there. Highlander reference, an early Highlander reference. Very nice. That's you know what? That's bonus experience points for you, buddy.
Didn't you remember that email that I sent about a month or so ago?
Mm-hmm.
There was a guy that actually cut his own head off with a chainsaw.
I do remember you sending me that. I'm like, it must have like jumped out of a knot and like hit him or something. I mean, how do you cut off your own head?
I'd have to reread the story, but that is an actual factual story about, like was on what's it called?
All it takes is to hit a knot or be cutting above your head, hitting a knot or something like that.
Yeah, Darwin Awards.
Yeah,
it was
the blade bites
award.
forward,
Yeah.
so it would keep running.
So there is so we did have a decapitation in a building in New York that used to have my old offices in it. The elevators in that place were always crazy. And this is after I started working at a different office, but apparently there was a guy, the doors open, a guy put his like to look into the elevator, and the door shut and the elevator dropped suddenly and decapitated him, sort of in the elevator kind of thing. Apparently that happened. Andrew, hey, there's Andrew. Do you remember that, right?
Well, I was there. I induced him.
You made it happen?
Yes.
Always a troublemaker. I was there.
He was the one that was like, I bet you can't.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric.
I bet you can't do that.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing very well. I got two microphones. Never mind. I'm glad you can hear me. Greetings.
I can hear you twice.
It's all reverb. No, we can hear you perfect. How are you guys? How you guys doing?
Great, thank you.
All good. Andrew, did you have a good weekend?
I did till I started hearing "Girl from Ipanema."
That's my favorite intro song. I'll turn it off. Don't worry. We won't have it going all the time. But
It should be part of our Friday nights. Then you know it as the girl from Iwo Jima, which is
it's the girl from Iwo Jima. Yeah.
That I
a different tune.
It's also the music that plays in the space elevator
What?
that Gordon was in
Gosh.
back in our Star Wars game. Hey, Gordon.
Hey.
How you doing,
We
man?
need to add Brazil, man. That's another good one.
Love the bossa nova.
Yep.
Makes me happy. All right, I think that's it, right? We got everybody. Gordon, Jennifer, Andrew, Eric. Yeah, I think everybody's here. I think.
Yep.
You missing anybody? All right. So last time we played B Team was the time. I'm sad to say that I forgot to record our effort, so I had to sort of puzzle my way through what I. Huh?
I said thank you for that. I appreciate it.
No problem. I had to puzzle my way through the maps to try and figure out what in the heck we actually did. So I think I've got it, but I want you guys to let me know if there's any changes. So, so at the beginning of last time, John Heil had gone to try and capture the Nereid's shawl after Phineas had told him that if you capture a Nereid's shawl and render them naked, you can control them. Grabbed the shawl away from the Nereid in the river, did absolutely nothing. She in turn charmed him and told him to kill Snapper. At which point he turned around and
dang good job.
And began doing a pretty damn good job of putting the hits on Snapper. So he's doing that. Then the Nereid, or mermaid, or whatever the heck she is, moves out into the river. She's got either some sort of lizards or crocodiles after her or chasing after her, and she sort of falls into the water and disappears, like goes under the. In the meantime, two lizards, giant sort of six-legged lizards, come running out, attack Llama and attack Snapper alongside John Hodge. Is what I have. There was some speculation at the time, if I recall correctly, that maybe one of these lizards was the mermaid polymorphed, but Phineas was doubtful. He didn't at the time know much, or even now probably, know much about Nereids other than what they are and what they can do, but he was pretty sure that they were unable to polymorph themselves into any sort of creature like this. Then, while you guys are fighting the lizards, from the east come a bunch of wild boars, with spikes on their back. They are apparently attracted to the smell of the dead people over in the camp over there. They come roaring through there. They get a hold of your released prisoner, the guy Lang. They get a hold of him, bite him a little bit, toss him upward. He lands on the spikes, and they end up dragging him around on the top of the spikes until he expires from blood loss. So he's getting out there. So they get him, he's impaled, and they sort of rock around. You guys end up fighting them as well. Heil at this point is still trying to kill Snapper, and everybody's trying to stop him in whatever way they can. Then two of these like lizard frog guys pop out of the bushes, and they begin attacking, shooting, throwing javelins, and attacking with tridents as they kind of go through. They're sort of lending their efforts to the chaos, although they seem to be, the lizards and the boars are obviously animals. These guys seem much more intelligent humanoids. They seem to be using tactics and that kind of stuff. They also seem to be very aquatic, and they're a little bit far away from the river, but potentially river creatures. Big brouhaha fight breaks out. Everybody's fighting everybody else. People are trying to kill Snapper. Some people are trying to stop the people from trying to kill Snapper. In the meantime, wild boars are running through here. These guys are tridents poking everybody. Lizards are getting chased back into the river. Sometimes they're coming out. Sometimes they're in. Monkeys are being cast and thrown at lizards and stuff like that. It's a veritable brouhaha. But by the end of last time, all of the creatures have been killed, pretty much.
Except Snapper.
Except Snapper. And I think John Heil's probably going to finish that off tonight. We
can only hope.
We got to a sort of a breathing point. I believe that John has somehow been disabused of the notion that I think Beltran, you cast, I want to say Dispel Magic, yeah, and got rid of it. So John is not trying to kill Snapper anymore.
At the moment.
Frankly, is lucky for Snapper.
Not yet.
And that is where we ended last time. So that is where we will start this time. You guys do not see anybody in the river. Although, Snapper, you remember that you did not kill the other lizard. You sort of chased it off with a combination of spells, and it sort of scooted away. There's
just
several.
take a
Go
look
ahead.
at the map. Make sure that we're all in the right place.
What do you mean?
Well, you said John was trying to kill Snapper, and when I first logged on, Snapper was way over here, so I moved him close to John. So
No,
I think
that was done.
I think the last
Yeah.
thing we
Last
did
thing-
was there was
Last
a
thing
lot of
was you
healing
guys
that went
over
on.
there, but then yeah, I cast a spell magic and yeah.
The last thing we did, if you could scroll up in the thing, you can see there's several healing spells cast around. At least 2 cure lights, a cure moderate, and it looks like Doug cast a cure serious on himself, a pretty good cure serious actually. So just recovering from the thing could be during that point that you moved around. And so that is where we begin. A stillness comes over the jungle.
I'll take it.
In the aftermath of this fight, the final boar is bleeding out onto the ground. You look over and you see that guy Lang sort of lying there. He's been pretty solidly impaled, and his blood is all over not only the boar that impaled him, but all over the ground where he lay. The 2 frog guys are sort of laying there, their weapons next to them. And everybody's sort of standing around, breathing heavy. You can see Lama wiping the blood and lizard ichor off of her blade. And Phineas kind of looking around and doing what he does best, which is analyze the situation from an intellectual standpoint.
And sing.
And sing.
La la la.
What was our mission?
Wait, now I got to check my notes. No, so you guys got sent out here. Master Bashir sent you guys down, and you guys are pretty far away from home. You're in the Mwangi Expanse, the jungle, going after an Aspis consortium effort to find a thing called the Drowning Stones. It's a place or items of power that are pretty much legendary, but Master Bashir and some of his colleagues have a plant in the Aspis Consortium that tipped them off that they had found where this place was, and that a expedition had been dispatched to go either acquire or lay claim to the stones themselves or the place where the stones are if they were immovable. They went this way. The tipster tipped you guys off, and Bashir sent you out here to sort of find out what was going on and see if you could put a stop to it. When you got here, you came up the river in canoes from the way station. You ran into the Rumawa, who not only you made friends with, but were able to tell you about the Aspis Consortium guys and which way they had gone. You came up through here, and you came upon what you suspect to be the Aspis Consortium camp. Now, that camp is up in the corner there, and you can sort of see it. There's a lot of dead people there. Now, they are all dead, and up in the very sort of cursory kind of thing that the searches that you did, you came to the conclusion that they were mostly dead by their own hand. Nearby them are weapons that you suspect they used on themselves. That's what killed them. There is some. They've been here a while. There's a fair amount of blood around here. So there have been obviously scavenger animals here, and you can see some of the damage for that. But the killing blows were delivered to themselves by themselves.
Did we search them all? Or it was
I can't remember. Mike, did you guys search them and find any sort of what do you got from a treasure standpoint?
I was not here the first night.
I feel like we did search them.
I don't think we had time because I think we got waylaid by the mermaid or the Nereid or whatever it is, right away.
I agree. I don't think we had the time to search them.
And I'm just looking at the map, and there's 3 big stones sitting there too. I mean, maybe those are what we're looking for. Maybe.
Where do you see 3 big stones?
Is by all the dead guys.
Oh, by the dead guys. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're sort of the two like this one here and this one here are more like boulders. They seem to be typical of this area. I mean, you know, they're just, as far as you can tell, they're boulders. They don't seem to have any special properties. This other one, this larger one, which is about 10 foot long, is actually a very sort of flat, thin stone laying on the ground, and it looks like these Aspis guys were using it as tantamount to a desk or a dinner table, because there's a couple of bowls on it, some wooden spoons, remnants of a meal. But it also looks natural. It doesn't look like it was placed here.
Maybe these are them.
Snappers, what is this? What is this thing here?
That's the remnants of their campfire. It's out now, but that's where they were. They had built a campfire there.
I'm gonna cast detect magic and go over the camp.
Okay. Detect magic on the camp. Okay. So you don't see anything anything of magic on the people. They have regular weapons, although there's a couple of masterwork daggers here that you could keep. You know, that are in pretty good shape. They do have a fair amount of money. Over to the side, in between this rock and there, you find a small chest about the size of maybe 4 or 5 laptops stacked on top of each other. And you do find a set of keys on one of the dead guys. One of those keys opens that chest, and inside are 3 bags with gems in them.
Nice.
From add it to the party.
Our level
Party
of
treasure.
knowledge. What is a laptop?
It's like a computer, only more expensive and less valuable.
Do I know what that is?
Yeah, I mean, it's just basically you're talking about a chest about this big. You know, the size of like a bowling ball case. To maybe would be a better analogy for you.
Okay. Do I know what bowling is?
You do.
Oh, okay.
Kegling.
One thing you do know, that bowling is right up your alley.
Ah, God. Okay.
You asked for that one, Andrew.
Somebody gets a demerit for that.
You provoked that. You threw
Okay,
and
then I get the demerit.
You threw him a donut and he glazed it. There's nothing I can do about that. So you do find this little chest. Now it's right out in the open, so you get the impression that this isn't somebody's personal cache. This is, like, for lack of a better term, party booty. And it's, you know, these
That's right, it is now.
This party booty.
well, these gems are sort of sectioned off. There are, you do a quick count, and there are actually 3 bags of 10 gems apiece, each bagged up separately in this small chest. You do find in one of the tents, you do find another small chest. And remember that you did find on one of the guys earlier those 2 pieces of like a journal that you found. It was on one of the dead people as well.
Can I take a look at the journal?
Yeah, you all can take a look at the journal. Most of it is covered in blood and unreadable, but there are 2 pieces that you can read. Here's the first one. And it says, and there's a date, and it's dated 3 weeks ago. And it says, today we killed 4 natives who dared to assault us in the river. We fed their corpses to the crocs and chased their ignorant companions back into the jungle. Although Garm, that clumsy oaf, fell into a pit. That night in camp, we heard what sounded like a beautiful woman somewhere in the jungle beckoning to us for help. I'm not stupid, so I remained here. But Dolmer, that foolish idiot, wandered out there to find out what it was, and he never came back. Serves him right. Licton says we'll be at the stones tomorrow. It's signed, this page is signed Lang. Now remember, Lang was the name that the guy that you guys got out of the pit gave you. Remember, he said his name was Lang. It took him a while to sort of remember. He seemed very sort of out of it. He seemed very confused about a lot of things.
So his name could be Garm.
Could be Garm, could be Dolmer, could be Licton. but he told you his name was Lang, that he remembered his name was Lang. The second page in the journal that you guys can see reads like this. Or does it read like this? Why does it not have a thing on it?
Return from the stones.
There it is.
And ever asks me to go there again, I'll get it in sleep.
There you go. Lost 2 of the expedition down there, Holtvin and Clumsy Garm, and heard that woman's voice again before we went in. Licton was acting strange and told us that Weirn was a pathfinder. Not likely, but I'm not going to disagree with the crazy bastard. We left Weirn behind. On the way back, we found a bloody mermaid in the middle of the river. I don't remember what she said, but the thing she made me think would make Asmodeus blush. We fled from her as fast as we could, but realized after returning to camp that 2 more of our expedition was missing. Licton was nervous, I can tell, and he holds the bag of stones we recovered from the cave like they were his baby. Smart guy that he is, he doesn't know that we'll all have some of the stones. The men are grumbling about getting out of here faster than planned, but Licton insists we're to stay here and wait for orders, it says. I'm not so sure. I think I'll leave tonight. I'm starting to feel that Licton doesn't have my best intentions in mind. Again, the signature says Lang. Those are the only 2 parts of the journal that you find, that you can read. Everything else is covered in the blood of the guy whom was holding it, had the journal on him, but the names don't match. Remember, the guy who got impaled by the boar told you his name was Lang. This guy is holding the journal, 2 pages of which, the only 2 pages of which you can read, are signed Lang. Maybe everybody in this company is named Lang.
Do we have any?
Like George Foreman.
It also says that they lost a couple of people. But again, several run-ins with this mermaid.
And there's no stones laying around at all, Les?
Well, there's a chest in one of the things that if you shake it a little bit, if it's heavy enough, could have stones in it. Sounds weird.
Does one of the keys fit that?
It does.
Then open it up.
Okay. Sure you want to do
Can
that?
I check the traps?
So hang on, I would like to do a knowledge check to just before we do anything, whether it's Arcana, history, or
Okay.
I want to get a sense if I know who's who, what's what, and what these chests are before we open them.
All right. So, okay. Natural 18 plus 17 is 35. What questions are you trying to ask? Like if you could determine who the people are?
Who they are, and if I can get any sense of what these chests are.
So the chests, I mean, so there's a couple of chests. The first one that holds the gems just seems like a regular chest, and the lock is of pretty good quality, but the key opened it right up. As far as the people, most of these guys are wearing Aspis badges, right? So you remember from the mountain adventure, the Aspis consortium guys have 3 tranches of like leaders, right? There's bronze, there's silver, there's gold, and they wear badges to identify themselves and identify their rank within the company. Most of these guys have bronze badges, which tell you that they are either, guards or, manual labor. They're junior, very junior people inside the consortium. There are 2 people that have silver badges. One is the guy that had the journal on him, and one is the guy that was in the pit that got impaled by the boars. They both have silver Aspis consortium badges. Now, silver badges, you guys know from your interactions with the consortium in the past, are typically like what you would call team leaders or platoon leaders. They generally have on adventures or what have you, they will be generally in charge of between 5 and 25 people. If a group gets much bigger than that, there'll either be a couple of silvers or they'll go ahead and put a gold in. Now, you've heard that there are platinum badge Aspis consortium people, but your guess is that platinum badges are reserved for what are called the 13 major leaders of the Aspis consortium.
Right. Pass this information along to everybody. This is what I know. As far as I can tell, I don't know, I don't see or notice anything unusual about these chests, but somebody may want to cast detect magic or something before.
Well, I should have detect magic already going.
Well, Snapper,
Oh, okay.
yeah, cast detect magic, and he the only thing that radiates magic that he's found is that small chest that was not the money chest, but the one that was in the tent that has it rattles. You haven't opened it yet. You do find a key that you think fits that lock, but as Fiat says, you know, maybe let me check it for traps.
I think that's a
Yep.
great idea.
Get in here and check this. It's got magic on
These
it.
notes, whatever's in that chest, don't touch it.
Fiat, you damn hobbit, get in here and check this chest.
All right. Trying to find my correct skill. What's the?
Well, I mean, it would be a trap check.
The disabled device check.
Yeah, disable device, or well, a perception check to look for traps, a disabled device to
Oh yeah.
Okay, sure.
to deactivate them if you see any.
Les, do you have my
Do I have your guy?
character sheet?
Yeah, hold on. You want me to send?
Yeah, and
Hey, Les,
Yep.
can I aid him in any way since I'm the one that
Oh,
saw
can
that
I
it was
do
magic?
inspire competence?
Sure.
You have to have disabled device.
Inspire competence gives you +3.
And
Nice.
here's the sound.
Oh, does not work.
nice. Cool. Okay. I got
So I have your perception at +14 and your disabled device at +12.
right, and I get a +2 for trap finding.
Yep.
And
Plus,
plus
Yeah.
plus 2 for your perception. Yeah.
All right, good. So
Okay.
let's find
So
us
16.
some traps.
All right, plus
All right, so,
16.
Actually, it's plus 19 because he's got inspire confidence or whatever the one that
Yeah.
adds to your skills. So it's 19.
What do I roll?
Roll D20, then 19.
D20?
D20 plus 19. Oh, geez, 36. All right, so
Oh, wait, that was not me.
oh,
Yeah, it was.
okay, it was to you.
Really, it was?
And just to
Oh,
prove that, I did it again.
I did it again.
You did indeed. So
I
yeah,
just
so
rolled-
36 on your detect traps. You don't see any traps. In fact, this looks pretty straightforward. You've checked the lock for contact poisons or anything like that. You've checked the key to see if it has to be twisted in a certain way to keep a dart from shooting out of there. Frankly, it looks like a regular old chest with a regular old lock, and you've got a key to it.
Great. Then I think it's probably the responsibility of the guy who checks for traps to try the lock. And
Okay.
if there is a trap, then it's my fault, right?
If
So,
there's a trap, it's definitely your fault. But I don't think there
I like
is.
the way you think.
You all, well, if you like, you should step back a bit, and I will try this key in the lock.
You're not going to write a poem, are you?
No.
There's no centaurs around, so I think we're good.
All right. So you try the key in the lock.
Yes.
Very gingerly, you sort of turn that key, and you're listening, and you hear the lock. The tumblers go, and you're pretty sure it's open.
What's inside?
All right. So you pop it open, and you look inside, and there isn't very much inside. On one part, there is a small folded piece of parchment. Next to that, sort of a little bit joggled in there, are two stones. Black, it looks to be made of some sort of basalt or highly polished black volcanic glass, about this big, about the size of a hot pocket, oval in shape. Very smooth, polished as and polished like.
Will he
very
know what a
smooth
hot
glass.
pocket is?
Yes, they have hot pockets back in Hobbiton.
Oh, okay.
You can get them at the Green Dragon Inn along with some ale.
Nice.
It's part of second lunches, I think.
Yeah, it's a classic second breakfast meal.
Excellent.
But yeah, there's two of these sort of black stones. They fit very nicely in the palm of the hand. And Snapper, to your question, it is these stones that radiate magic.
Okay.
Can I use a knowledge history to see if I know what a hot pocket is?
Sure.
Nah, never mind.
And then there next to it is a folded up either piece or multiple pieces of parchment.
I unfolded and tried to read them.
Okay. You don't have to try to read them. There's no the words that you see on there are written in common, but it looks to be some sort of map. It looks recently drawn, and at the very, and it's a, it basically is showing a place to the north, as far as you can tell by the compass rose, and it looks to be a map of the path to where they found these stones. At the very top of the map, you can see something that says Drowning Stone Well. And there's various kinds of, like homemade map coordinates and where the big tree here with an arrow and that kind of stuff.
Well,
but it looks like a map to get to the drowning, to where they found these stones.
Okay. Well, we told that we were supposed to grab just 2 stones, or do we know how many stones there are, or?
Well, no, you don't know how many stones there are. And frankly, this whole drowning stones thing, nobody really knew what exactly it was. It could have referred to actual stones that had some sort of magical power. It could refer to a place from which these stones could be cut or mined or manufactured. Basically, Bashir is like, look, 2 things. Figure out what it is and do your best to grab it for us and keep the Aspis guys from getting it, whatever it is.
So we're done.
Well, you got 2 of these stones. I don't know if it's time to go back yet. I mean, you certainly could.
Okay.
So I would like to use a knowledge check to see if I know what the hell they are.
About the drowning stones?
Yes.
Okay.
Like,
cool.
Is this what we came for? And if so, what do we need to take any precautions? What do we know about this?
Okay.
What's the magic radiating?
Holy crap, dude.
It's transmutation magic. It's mild transmutation magic. So the drowning stones. Okay, so
Are these the real deal? Are these what we came for?
I think with the 35, he's definitely a resident expert on it.
Okay. All right. So what you know about the stones is that the stones themselves seem to be linked to some demon lord and infused with that demon's essence, which is a nasty business and a source of power that Aspis must not have. So the stones themselves have a power that are somehow associated with some sort of demon lord, but also where they are found might have power as well.
Okay, so we need to keep going then. We need to follow this map they made and go to where they found them.
Well, that note said everybody had the stones on them too, so there's maybe some more lying around. Maybe.
Well, there could be, but it did say that a couple of their guys disappeared.
Yeah.
So if you look at,
do I need to keep them in a lead-lined sack of keeping or something?
Don't touch them.
they generate a small amount of transmutation magic, is what Snapper would tell you.
I was gonna say, I've got a bag of holding, which puts it on a different plane. We could put it back in that chest and put it in the bag of holding, and that way it's not physically here.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if this is the real deal, then we need to put them somewhere safe.
Agreed.
Okay. Where's safe?
You guys want to put them in the bag of holding?
So yeah, I mean, if you guys look back at that at that page that you could read in the journal, it says, "Returned from the stones. If Licton ever asks me to go there again, I'll gut him in his sleep. Lost 2 of the expedition down there, Holtvin and Clumsy Garm, and then heard that woman's voice again before we went in. Licton is acting strange. It told us that Wern was a pathfinder, not likely, but I'm not going to disagree with the crazy bastard. We left Wern behind. So at least 3 of their guys didn't make it back to camp.
So they could have more stones.
Well, there's only 2 in this chest. That's all you can see here.
And there's no magic otherwise on any of these dead bodies anywhere.
Nothing.
Well, let's put the things in a bag of holding.
Okay, so I put them in a bag of holding.
All right, do you touch them at all?
No.
Like with your bare hands, or put them in your mouth,
No.
or anything like that?
I lick them, yeah.
Yeah, I lick them too.
Okay, first, gross. Second.
Snapper tells John to drop it down his pants. It makes him look more like a man.
And then I correct him and say, no, the front of your pants, not.
Yeah, that's right.
That's an old Dr. Obvious joke.
Yeah.
Put the potato in the front. Oh. Oh God, that's funny. All right, so yeah, so I mean, if you guys want to keep them in the chest will fit them in the thing. It does seem to protect whatever it is. I mean, there's no problems picking up the chest or anything like that. If you want to use that, or you want to use a sack or something, so you don't have to touch them, that's eminently possible.
The bag of holding holds a big old open space, so.
You're just gonna chuck them in there, so they're right next to whatever else you got in there.
No. We're gonna put them in the chest and then put the chest in there.
Oh, okay. Just check. All right. What are you gonna do now?
Thing.
Follow the map that they had in there. Start heading back to where they said they found these things.
Okay. All right. You want to just go ahead and police up your gear and start heading out?
What time is it?
It's early. It's not quite noon yet. I mean, looking at the map seems to indicate that the place they're talking about doesn't seem to be much farther than maybe 3 or 4 miles through the jungle. At least that's what it looks like.
So we can easily get there today then.
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay.
Well, I want to send my Silver Raven ahead.
Okay.
To report back if he sees anything.
All right. So you launch the Silver Raven into the air.
Yes.
And that is a wondrous token. Correct.
Well, thank you very much.
I mean, it's not an actual thing. It's a figurine of wondrous power, as
they
say.
It can fly like a raven. It's armor, or it's metal. It maintains its metal and has a high blah blah blah. But basically, it can.
Has a high blah blah blah. That's
all right.
great.
Well, so looking at the thing, I mean, you can't see through its eyes or anything. It's really sort of a messenger. If you look at a Silver Raven figurine,
come back and talk to me.
No, it can't talk to you.
Yeah,
it has no special powers or tell. Oh, it can talk. Sorry.
Nevermore.
I didn't see the animal thing here. Okay, it can't talk. All right, so you send it off. How far do you want it? Did you give it any instructions?
Yeah, I gave it the exact coordinates.
Go that way, 4 miles, circle around, and come back.
You tell us what you see in between.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's gone for better part of an hour. But finally, it comes flying back. Just about the time that you start to think that maybe you're like, well, where the hell is my raven? It shows up like the owl from Clash of the Titans, lands on your shoulder, and says to you that it a couple of things. One, very difficult to see what's going on the ground from the air because of the jungle. It gets thicker as you go northward, and it's difficult to see. There are some paths and there are some water courses that go through there, including, it points like to that river, heads in the same general direction as you're talking about. But he didn't see anything in the river or moving on the ground. He did, when he got to the point where he thinks where you guys are supposed to be going, there was a break in the jungle, and there does seem to be some sort of clearing. And he describes to you that he saw what he describes as a stone arch on the ground. but that he didn't land, and that's as much as he saw. There's a clearing about 4 miles from here, in the direction that you said the map to go, and in that clearing is some sort of stone arch.
And he saw no living.
He saw no creatures at all.
Okay.
How close is the stream from this?
The stream goes by the clearing about maybe 200 yards away.
The stream of death.
The stream of death.
Yeah.
Or Death Crick, as the locals call it.
Well, let's march.
Do it. Let's do it.
All right, you guys gonna do anything before that? Just any other things that you want to check around here, or
Checked all the
I don't know,
bodies, right?
chuck the bodies in the river or anything like that? Yeah, you checked all the bodies. No,
No valuables, no.
there were 2 masterwork daggers on 2 different people, but other than that, their weapons were mundane. Even the frog guys, their tridents and stuff were mundane, although they did have some interesting longbow arrows, or like tantamount to javelins that they throw that had were sort of mini tridents that were kind of cool. But from a use standpoint, they would be exotic weapons. You have to develop some sort of competency in them, which you don't have. You gonna do anything with the bodies? I mean, you just gonna leave them there for the boars and the worms?
Well, they gotta eat too.
Eric, what were you gonna say?
Leave them.
You say leave them or pile them?
You did. Yeah, he said leave them.
Pile them in a thing and burn them.
Okay. Okay. That. All right. So you guys just leave them there to rot on the ground, without any sort of sense of.
No compensation.
I'll say a quick prayer over them, and that's it.
Yeah. Screw you, Aspis guys. All right. You guys set off. The jungle terrain is tough. It is tough to get through. You have to sort of hack there. There is a little bit of a path, but it's pretty. I mean, the jungle seems to get thicker and denser, and you find yourselves in some cases slashing about with your swords to try and get through. At one point, you feel like you guys have gotten turned around again. You're trying to sort of gauge what direction you're going. It's really dense, but you do seem to eventually get where you're going. And up ahead in the distance, you can see what looks to be a fair amount of sunlight coming through into a field or a clearing of some kind that you can see off in the distance. You guys are about 50 yards away. What do?
We attack the sunlight.
Attack the sunlight. Good plan. We're switch maps. All right. Let's have a look at what you guys are seeing here. All right. So if you go to the left, you guys will see you sort of coming up from the right there. You can see you're still about 50 yards off. So it is about. So Eric, it probably took you a good 2 to almost 3 hours to cut through that jungle. So it's coming up on 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's hot. It's sweaty. You guys are pretty gross. But there doesn't seem to be any issues or problems so far. So Heil, are you still? I wanted to check real quick. Are you still in fox form, or do you want your regular form back?
Yeah, I'm going to stay in this form for now.
In that form?
It was really good at killing snappers, so I mean, you might as well stick with it.
That's
Might
true.
as well.
He did a hell of a job, I gotta
He
say.
did.
I'm a little worried he's going to try to kill me. So.
Well, Snapper strikes me as the kind of dude. He's sort of like out in the field teammate, but when he's going to get you back in town in Kathir, and he's like, "Hey, Heil, why don't you and I go out of the town tonight?" And the next thing you know, you're going to wake up in at the bottom of the bay, tied in a sack.
With several different venereal diseases.
And those are not just from Snapper.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys are approaching again. This particular map, there's going to be a little bit of distance between where you guys and where you are. You're about 50. I'm going to say, you're about 50 yards away from the map edge at this point. You can see light pouring in, and you do see what looks to be some sort of arch in the middle of this clearing. There is less, jungle foliage blocking your way, so it does seem clearer. And even more curious, you begin to feel stone under your feet, cobblestone, some sort of road. Now, this is an. You look down. Give me a perception check, especially you, Andrew. You know
All of us, or
yeah, sure.
Okay.
Hobbits and giants can't see shit. All right, so Snapper, you and Beltran and Phineas sort of like hang back and you see you're looking down and you can see that there is essentially an old cobblestone road that you guys are on that leads over there. In addition, no, it's not yellow. It's just regular old gray stones. In addition, you can see up towards the clearing. You guys can see that there are some broken down stone walls. It's blocking your vision in some cases from looking in there. These are well covered with vegetation. They're broken down quite a bit. This is a very old place. You're not sure what it's all about, but it's old. You also see a stone, weirdly cartoonish and anomalous stone arch in the middle of this map that your DM probably had to get from a different place to put in.
Well, it looks natural. It looks legit.
So it seems weirdly out of place, but it is made of the same stone that the cobblestones seem to be made out of, and does seem to be flanking some sort of. It seems to be in the middle of some sort of like ring or something like that. The rest of you are sort of, I mean, Bjorn and Flatfoot, you guys don't see much. Lama, is that at 16? Is that you or is that John?
No, it's Hyle.
That's Hyle.
Everyone has better perception than her.
She didn't even try. She's like, point the way, and I'll kill whatever it is that needs to be killed. Hyle, you're focused less on the stones and more on the arch, and you can see from here that it has a chain dangling from it. It's kind of it's a little bit out of sight, and it's weathered, so it's kind of hard to spot, even since it's just dangling there. But there's a chain dangling from that arch, and it seems to be dangling down maybe 5 feet. That arch is maybe 8 feet high on the interior, another 2 feet or something, so 10 feet to the top point there on this. If you were to climb up here, you'd probably be 10 feet off the ground.
Llama draws a weapon.
Okay, which weapon is Llama drawing?
Maybe for fun, Llama will draw her hammer. I think we picked up a hammer.
Hammer time.
If I had a hammer.
So just for curiosity's sake, how many two-handed weapons does Llama carry?
Actually, I think I'm going to pick up my bastard sword because I don't know what we're going into, and I carry 2 plus my 2.
So you have a two-handed scimitar and the hand and a half sword, the bastard sword. What about the hammer? What's that about?
I don't have a scimitar.
He's got a bastard sword and
my Morning Star.
Morning Star.
Which is single-handed, right?
That's a single-handed weapon. Okay, all right. So I had assumed that you were like festooned with baldricks at this point, but okay.
No, but I do have my 2 fists, so that's another two-handed weapon.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. Mm-hmm. A half-orc fighter, a half-orc barbarian is never unarmed, as they say. All right, so you guys approach even more cautiously this ancient place that really has, I mean, it would be like it's analogous to like us today stumbling across in sort of like the Shawnee Forest and a Roman road. What do you guys do? I see Bjorn and Snapper and Llama sort of edging forward. Beltran, Hyle sort of over there in the bushes, kind of wandering about.
That's
probably our marching order as we approach.
That's true.
What about you, Flatfoot? You hanging back or are you sneaking ahead?
I would like to sneak ahead. Actually, can I want to be a scout and find out just what's here. Do you all want to hang back and let me scout the situation?
Yes.
That's what you want.
And don't forget, I'm inspiring competence.
Okay.
Phineas, where the hell are you?
I don't know.
I don't see you. Hold on. I gotta go get me a Phineas.
And so we haven't rested since the last combat, have we?
No, you have not.
Okay.
You've done some healing, but
Yeah, no, I
nothing
got
in
that.
the way of.
Okay. I'm just in stealth mode, and I just want to go as quietly as I can and look and see as much of this scene as I can. So can I just move my marker?
Yeah, you can move your guy if you want. You're just gonna sort of edge forward a little bit.
I mean,
How far ahead of the rest of the guys do you want to get?
I would like to, if I can, stick close to walls.
Well,
Okay, so there's walls to both the north and south, and there's a big wad of like this right here is sort of a big wad of tumble down stone. You're not sure what it was, maybe a tower at one point, but it's remember this place. I mean, you're looking at this place and it looks old, like
before
1,000 years old.
Can I offer to cast invisibility on him? Yeah. Would you like to be invisible?
Well, let's save that for now. You know what? I think this is fine. I just want to check it out. Let me stick close to the walls or some sort of cover and creep some. Okay.
All right, so you should be able to move your guy. There you go. All right, somebody moved it. It must be you. So you're going to go over there by that like little wad of fallen down masonry?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And you are not invisible, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Although, guys, you know what? There's something weird is happening. There's some sort. This is real, actually. There's some sort of strange smell in my house. I think my dishwasher is on fire. Excuse me.
What?
I'll be right back. Hold on.
Obama.
Did he just say his dishwasher's on fire?
I said do.
Yeah.
I hope that is indeed not the case.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Maybe there's an albino raccoon in it.
Sorry about that. You know what? I left the pot burning on the stove.
You got to go take care of it?
It's fixed. But,
okay.
Wow, that was weird. Sorry, folks. I just smelled something.
You all right, bud?
I'm fine. I feel.
This is what happens when you drink during the afternoon.
Yeah.
Well, it was my task to boil the milk pump, the accoutrement that my wife uses to pump milk, and I just boiled away all the water because I was gaming. I'm a fool. All right.
We've all been there, dude.
Anyway, let's proceed and and so can I just creep and look?
Yeah. So you're not invisible. So you're creeping forward. Give me a perception check.
Glad to. I think I'm plus 14. Let me check.
Yes.
Plus 14. So, all right, and I rolled that. Okay.
31. Okay, so so a couple of things. You feel like that you're not so much in a clearing anymore as you are in a building. And this building has no roof, very few walls, but as you look around, you see more wall-like piles of stone, and you suspect that a long time ago, this was some sort of building. There's a lot of stone material here. Stone is not common in the Mwangi expanse. It's not typically used as a building material. So this, I mean, you're not sure how long ago or how this stone got here, but this is not new. Second, you see across on the other side of the arch, back over that way, you see what looks to be a large fountain or pool or well. a very large. It reminds you of the communal wells in the villages back in the shires where you come from, where the women would come to gather water for the day and that kind of stuff. It was but essentially, a spring that somebody put a cistern around, an above ground cistern so the spring would flow up into it. It's over there. You can hear the water sort of sloshing back and forth in this pool or well that's over to the west.
See any footprints or recent sign of any tracks, people, creatures?
The 31, so you kind of look where you're standing, you kind of like look around a little bit to see what it is. And you got a 31, so you at first you're like, I don't see any tracks, and then you look down and you see one sort of very faint track coming off of the cobblestones and headed in this direction. And here, let me just go ahead. It's coming off right here, and it's heading in this direction. A track that looks very similar to the tracks that you guys found back at the Aspis Consortium camp. These weird sort of like multi-toed tracks that you think belong to those frog guys. You see one track.
Cool. Thank you. Okay. Frog guys. All right. Wagon. Wagon. I probably mangling that name. Those guys. Frog guys. All right.
Their proper names I think Andrew came up with was Scoom. They're Scoom, they're called.
Scoom, great. Scoom. Okay, cool. That's Scoom. I just want to keep searching, looking. I would like to know just what is here. I'm feeling pretty sure that there's nobody else here, but I just want to check it out. Can I Can I move around some more and just scout and check? Great, cool. Let me just grab my where am I here? All right, I'm gonna move over to here, like so, and I want to look back here and see what's behind this wall here.
Okay. Give me a perception check.
Two coming up. 320 plus 14.
31. You turn the corner on that thing and you're sort of peering into the darkness. It's very shadowed. There's not a lot there, but you sort of peer in and your hobbit eyes sort of attuned to the darkness, the shadows, and you see sort of hovering back there one of those scooms, and he's sort of sitting there just by himself. And then you're like, he's not moving at first, and then you're sort of like, what? And suddenly you see his eyes just go, shook, and he looks up and he's got his trident in his hand, and he's like, and charges you.
All right, great, yeah, wonderful. So yeah, guys, the coast is totally clear. All right, I've got to run.
Surprise round. First, he charges at you and tries to get you with his trident.
Okay, so much for my stealth. Okay, great. All right, can I run, duck?
Not at this point. He's got a surprise round on you. 19 hit you.
Ouch.
If only he'd been invisible.
Ooh, make that a 21. He gets +2 from the charge.
Hey.
Does a 21 hit you?
Yeah. My AC is 16. Yeah.
Oh, that is a hit then. So you get 5 points of trident damage as this guy comes running out of there and just like skewers you, and you're like, wah! As this guy comes running. The rest of you hear what sounds suspiciously like a hobbit screaming off in the distance in the direction that Fiat went.
Can I all see this, Les? He's kind of standing there.
Give me a perception check. You're sort of behind those stones a little bit and sort of in the weeds, but give me a perception check. You never know. 26. Yeah, you see. I mean, you were sort of like You had your eyes on Fiat. It was you sort of like sneaking around. It came around this little piece of this little piece of masonry, this little wall area, and all of a sudden you see him sort of like back up, and you see him start to kind of like go backwards, and then one of these frog guys comes out there and just like skewers him. So yes, you did see that.
Yep. Heads up, guys. Yeah.
All right. Let's roll for Nish.
All of us.
Everybody who wants to participate.
You roll the last 3.
Well,
hold on a second. Let me. I'm going to delete all these. We'll start from scratch.
Wait, nope. You gotta click on the llama.
no, I was distracted by the barking.
Is that your dog?
No, it's not.
It could be my dogs. I got 2 of them. They're freaking out.
Howell rolled a 17 less. I just, that's 7 with me. John Howell rolled a 17.
I got a 29.
Okay. Johnny
I'll
rolled
be
a
bad.
17.
And then she rolled over me on my.
No, he got a 17. I got the 20.
Gotcha. Okay.
Hey, I have a silly question. How do I roll for this? Sorry.
Just so your initiative bonus is +4. So just roll a d20 +4, and then what I'll do is I'll there's macros that Don sent out, but that you should have. So you got a 19. I'll just put it on top of your turn, and I'll just put you in at 19. I don't think anybody else. Is anybody else not in the system?
More joy, Chuck. More joy.
Bjorn's in there. I'm in there. Who am I missing? Phineas, where are you?
I rolled a 29.
29. Damn, son.
A natty 20 plus a 9.
Sweet. All right. Well, let's. I think that's everybody.
Stick an apple in there.
4, 5, 6. Okay. All right. So Phineas, you are. You're first by a fair stretch.
I pull out my lute and I start singing about inspiring courage and come on, you guys can do it. I know you can do it.
All right. Inspire courage tonight is Mission Impossible, which you may or may not hear in the background. I've tried to keep it low.
No, that's a good song. That would be good. And I'll move up just so I can. Well, I'm obviously not going to inspire Fiat. But,
well, yeah, I mean, you don't really know what's going on. So you're pretty far away. Unless you want to do a perception check and see if you can see anything, you probably don't know.
Fiat's been inspired by someone else.
Okay, I'll do a perception check.
Okay, go for it.
Or do I want to do a knowledge history and if I can figure out what this place is and what to expect?
It's up to you. You can do either of those things.
I want to search my memory banks.
To figure out the nat 20? You said
I'm on a roll.
This you would suspect, so considering the mission you guys are on, and that you guys are looking for these drowning stones, which is obviously some sort of location that and that has historical significance, that it would make sense that at some point in the past, this was either a temple or a fortified place that has since, over the course of centuries, become run down. I mean, you look at the stones here. This is centuries worth of wearing. It could be. I mean, you don't know much about these drowning stones other than what you've been told, and that's this sort of abyssal or demonic influence that they have this place, but that they have this power. But this place here that you guys are in is obviously a place of significance from a long time ago.
So I relay that to everybody and go.
You would say probably the temple or a fortress based on how the walls are set up and that kind of thing. You're not sure what the deal is with the arch in the center, but
it's old, but I think it's a drive-through. I don't know.
Certainly a drive-through now.
So I'll move up a little bit just so people can take advantage of my balloon.
Okay, do you want me to? Okay, so you're gonna move up to
Have
there.
We've not heard anything, have we?
Well, Heil has heard. Heil saw Fiat get skewered. Nobody else has really rolled for perception yet to hear Fiat yelling, "Ah, I'm skewered!" You know, that kind of thing.
I told everyone that Fiat was getting attacked.
So you yell out. What do you yell at? So you lean over to these guys and you're like, "Fiat's getting hurt."
I told them that one of the frog guys is hitting Fiat.
Okay. All right. Cool. Llama, you hear Heil yell out, one of the frog guys is getting Fiat. You do hear, give me a perception check. All right, so you do hear both Phineas singing the Mission Impossible song, and you hear in the distance to the south, you hear Fiat, what you sound like is a scream of either alarm or pain from the Hobbit.
Okay, I'm gonna run right for him.
Well, you don't see him. So remember that right here, you have a pretty significant pile of stones. You can't see him. You heard him, but you'd have to go around.
Right, I figured that. And John,
Okay.
John is, I kind of know where you said we heard him squeal earlier. So it would make sense that I know I need to run around, right?
Well, yeah, John says I could see him.
Yeah. John, did you look in there? Did you clear that space that you were going to, or did you never get a chance?
I just wanted to see what was behind it, and yeah, it looks like there's nothing there. I mean, from what I can see.
Well, I'm going to take the chance and move. These are 5-foot squares last. 5, 10.
The little one, yeah, the little ones are, the yellow ones are 5-foot squares.
Go.
Oh, maybe I'll just go this way.
Can she go south less, or is that stone in the way?
It gets in sort of like that bush there. It gets to be a little bit of difficult terrain. So maybe the fastest way would be to go to the west and then to the south.
And with a bastard sword, I do not have reach, correct?
Correct.
You do not. That's correct. It's a 5-foot reach.
So if I was to run, could I get one attack in? If I was to go as far as
Not if you use both your move actions. So yeah, no. To run is a full round action.
if this is going normal speed to 40, then can I take a 5-foot step and use one?
You can't take a 5-foot step, but if you I don't think you get close enough.
My aura.
Okay, that's fine. Then that's I guess I'll just use both and place myself here.
You get there. You're definitely in position to fight this guy next round. Now you can't move into. Well, now wait a second. You can't move into that space because he's in that space. So where did you stop before? Yeah, that's within 5 feet. You can.
This is 4 foot. Yeah, this is 40 foot. This is 45. So I move 5 foot with my second action, my second move action.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna move right next to Fiat.
Yeah, I was trying to place myself in front. I mean, I was thinking since I had another 40 foot, I could move. I can't go. Here
If you put yourself back there, though,
large, I think so. He's taking.
Okay.
He takes up this square. So if you go right there, you can actually take a single swing.
Well, no. What she's saying is that she had to use extra movement to get even to that square.
To get to here, I can't.
Yeah. Yeah, she can go there with one movement. So she stops right there.
She can?
Yeah. This is.
Oh well, then you can you can make a single attack.
Okay, I didn't know he was taking up 4 squares.
Yeah, he's big. He's maybe 11, 12 feet tall. Ooh, that's gonna hit.
Hey, Les.
Yep.
I'm not. Snapper is not in the order.
What'd you roll?
14.
Okay, hold on a sec.
Oh, is that?
So can Llama still hear my singing?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Where she is? Yeah, she's definitely in there.
Okay.
And I appreciate your singing. I enjoy your singing. Amazing.
Thank you.
I hum your singing at night when I go to sleep.
Don't forget to tip your waitress and bartender.
Okay. So 14 points of damage with a
Bastard sword.
Bastard sword. Okay.
+2.
Check. Make sure that I have tons of DR.
It's +2, so it cuts through that, doesn't it, or no?
No, not all of it, but well, not it. A +2 weapon does not cut through all. It depends on the DR. In this case, these scooms do not have any DR. I was just kidding. So all of that goes to damage. There you go. All right. Ugh, you see him bleeding this blue-green blood, and he wrenches his trident out of Fiat, who's like staggers backward, and he begins to look at you from a stabbing perspective.
Get out of there, Fiat.
Fiat, it's your turn. And she yells at you, get out!
Okay. Fiat is on a frontline fighter. Right. Can I duck around behind Llama and can I dive? Can I dive around her? Like so.
Yeah, I mean, so you have to be careful because you might provoke an attack of opportunity.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
You just go straight back, you're fine.
How tall, how big is this monster?
It's like 11 or 12 feet tall. So the problem is, and it's got, well, let me double check, make sure that's the case. I don't
Actually,
think
if it's
it
got
has
reach, if he moves, he's going to get swung at.
Well, that's what I'm checking. It does not have reach. So you can, if you take, so getting away from creatures like this. So the rule is if you move from a threatened square, if you move out of a threatened square, you get an attack of opportunity. However, a 5-foot step invalidates that, and defensive, a full defensive retreat, or even what do they call it? A fighting withdrawal will also negate the ability of this creature to go next. So you can sort of back up.
You can do a withdrawal, which takes both your actions, but then they don't get an attack of opportunity.
Right.
All right. You know what? I feel a little irked that I got myself into this situation. If this thing is 11 feet tall and I'm 4 feet tall, can I dive between its legs and then backstab it?
Theoretically, yes. What you would need to do to pass through a threatened square, you need to make an acrobatic check that's better than its CMD to get past it. And then that would be an action, and then you would sort of like try to get there. You would have to be in flanking position to get any sort of sneak attack damage. But if you wanted to go to, I would say something like this square here, where you could legitimately get, where you could legitimately get in either probably this square or this square. You could get flanking with Llama, and that would allow you to get sneak attack. So yeah, the first thing you would have to do would be acrobatics through its CMD, which I will tell you right now what it is. It is, oh geez, it's easy. 15. It has a CMD of 15. So what's your acrobatics bonus?
If I
do you know off the top of your head?
Plus 14.
Plus 14. So you would have to roll a 1 or better on your acrobatics check. Well, let's see how. Let's see if that happens.
Okay. I mean, my hope is I'm gonna dive between its legs and come up safe, and then start to attack from the rear. Meanwhile, Mama is gonna come forward and give it grief from the front. So here.
Right. Okay.
It's actually 5 plus a CMD.
Is it 5 plus?
If you're moving around it, it's just the CMD. If you're moving through
right.
space,
Okay.
it's 5 plus that.
All right, so if you're scooting through its legs, that's a DC 20. With your acrobatics of 14, so you got to roll a 6 or better to get through there. Oh yeah. So you're like, you flip him off, do a zig, then a zag, and then you tuck and roll, and you go right through, and you end up either here or one square downward, southward, depending on where you want to go. It's up to you. Either way, you're going to be in a position to flank.
Just a note, that is the 5th, number 5, 17 that I rolled tonight.
At least you're consistent.
Yeah. So, okay, good. Can I now stab it?
Yeah, you get 1 attack.
I attack it.
And you would get, I think.
You just sneak attack with this.
Yeah. Does he get flat-footed AC though? I don't think so.
No, it knows he's there.
It knows he's there.
He's
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
pranked. So in flank though, you get +2 to attack.
All right. So, I'm sorry. I wish I were more Pathfinder savvy. What should I check here? Should I just I just roll or.
So in this case, you get +2 to attack. Your base attack bonus. Well, let me look. So your short sword, yeah, you're at +10 now, +12.
Oh, so D20 plus 12.
So D20 plus 12.
Yep.
Here goes.
29. That's an easy hit. You get him. You roll under his legs. You stand up and you get him right in the kidneys with that shot. And give it a twist. D4 plus 1 plus whatever you do from a sneak attack damage.
What level rogue are you?
Let's see. I'm still at level 4 rogue.
Okay, so it's 2d6 on top of.
So 1d4 plus 1 plus 2d6 of sneak attack.
I'm fighter 1, rogue 4.
Okay.
So wait a minute. Say it again. I'm sorry.
D4 plus 1 of weapon damage, and
Yes,
then
sir.
2d6 of sneak attack damage. So it's all piled up on top.
D4. Okay, so I'm sorry. D4 plus 1 to 2. All right. I roll that. It's going to be 5.
Max damage. Nice.
D6. You said.
Then
2d6 for sneak attack damage.
And that's plus 0.
Correct.
6 more points. Nice. All right. So
Take that.
you have done 10 points of damage. So Lama, you see him roll through this guy's legs. You see the frog guy sort of look around. Then Fiat comes up. He's got his short sword out. He just gives him a stab right in the kidney. You see this frog like doing a sort of like swats the sword away. You can see a big grin on Fiat's face, even though he's bleeding from the trident head. He seems pretty happy that he stuck this guy right in the kidney. He still seems more worried about you than he's worried about Fiat. Fiat, you get the feeling he considers to be a nuisance problem right now, whereas you are a half-orc barbarian with a much larger sword.
Let's hope he feels like that.
All right, John Heil, you're up. Hold that thought just a second. I'll be right back.
I don't believe him.
I don't believe him either.
Sorry, I had to acquire my Malbec.
So let's. I got 5 hour mage armor from the time we started the last battle. Do I still have that?
Yep.
Okay.
How long does it last?
From the start of the last battle, I would think that yes, it's still in play.
That's hours per level, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hi.
Oh yeah.
Well, it took you a couple of hours, almost 3 hours, to sort of trudge across the thing, but even so, it would still be in play.
Okay. So I'm going to move. Let's see.
Now, Les, did you say this right here is difficult terrain or hard to?
Yeah, part of it is going to be difficult terrain. I mean, because there's like a lot of like bushes and shit right there.
But I can see through it. Just
you can see through it. It just to get through like walk through it is difficult.
Okay.
And you can see through it depending on your perception check. Maybe you can, maybe you can't.
Okay.
And shooting through it is going to be a problem too, Mr. Archer.
That's why I'm asking.
Okay. Is this difficult terrain, Les, where I'm at?
To get forward through there, yeah, there will be a little bit of difficult terrain. It's just a lot of vegetation in that area.
So
Even
that
for a
means
fox?
I'm not really a fox right now. So if I move 10 feet, that's 20 feet. Is that right?
Correct. It's like half.
Yeah, you pay twice.
20, 30. Is that enough with reach to hit him? It is, right?
Let me see. Where are you going? With reach, that will definitely hit him.
Okay, so I get 1 attack.
All right. 22 is going to hit. What did you? So is this with claw?
No, I'm going to bite him.
Bite him. Ouch. Okay.
With the blue blood and all, ew.
Yeah, so 1d6 plus 7 and 1d6 acid. $17
points of damage?
Yeah, 11 damage and 6 acid.
Okay. the acid begins eating away at the creature's skin, and that blue blood that's coming up from the bite marks is mixing with the acid and steaming and smoking and making a big, you can see it sort of like creating this like scar tissue, this weird keloid scar tissue on the thing of it. It didn't like that at all, and it's like, now it's looking around at you and maybe to stick you with its trident, but it was surprised to find itself swarmed with enemies so quickly. Thought it had this hobbit, thought it had a fresh meal. Now all of a sudden there's a ton of people around it, which it didn't expect. So that's that. Snapper, you're up. Give me a perception check real quick before you get going. 31. You hear some. You're sort of focused down to the south, right? There's a lot of things going on. You're like, how do I help these guys? Then something catches your eye to the north, or catches your ear, really. You hear something moving in the underbrush over there. You don't see anything. You look over there, but you don't see anything. But you're certain you heard something.
And just to make sure that I'm north is to the top of the screen.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'm going to come out here. What's that? 10 foot. And looking up in, well, in the, like in this direction. This is a wall. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's like wall. There's some sort of wall in there or something. Okay, it looks like that old stone is in there.
All right. Take a quick look up here.
Okay.
Nothing.
Give me another perception.
I'm sorry. I rolled a perception check.
28. You don't see anything at first.
Okay.
But then as you focus on the noise, which the noise is not happening anymore, but you sort of like looking through there, you think you see a pair of eyes in the underbrush looking at you about 10 feet off the ground. Big, kind of glowing, sort of aquatic eyes.
Aquatic eyes. All right.
Yeah, sort of those big sort of anglerfish eyes, which you think you recognize as being of these frog guys. You think there's one in the bushes over there, and he's getting ready to come out of there.
Okay. So I call alarm, and I point to where I see these eyes.
All right, who do you talk to? I mean, you talk to, like, I guess Phineas and Bjorn. Oh, Bjorn is who you talk about.
Well, no. I mean, when I say call alarm, I mean like yell out loud. So whomever is around me.
All right, what do you say?
Hey, there's appears to be, frog-like, eyes up to the north.
Hey, there's something up here.
Okay, cool.
And I point in the general direction where I see these eyes.
Yeah, you point in like this direction over here is where you see.
Right.
All right. You do anything else? You just had that one move, and then just pointing and then running?
Well, I'm going to travel another movement and get over here and then prepare to defend.
Okay. So you're getting kind of like behind some of that cover there?
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, my turn. All right. So John Heil, this creature the Skoom looks at you and is just like, you get the impression that, suddenly it comes back, it rears back with the trident and tries to get you low, and up high that claw comes down, and as that claw comes down, you see it sort of weird toad-like or frog-like beak come in for a bite. Looks like a full attack on you as it's going in. Let's see what happens.
It doesn't have reach, you said, right? So I get an attack of opportunity when it comes in?
It's probably going to take a 5-foot step forward then to get you. It wants you.
Okay.
All right. First roll, which is the trident. 21.
Oh, all right. Hang on.
Is that a hit?
No. Nope.
No!
Not even close.
All right. The claw that comes up from the top, 19, miss. The bite snaps, misses completely. So it moved forward 5 feet to try and get you, but all of its attacks fell on deaf ears. Snapper, as you yell out, I think I see one up here. You do see one up here. It materializes out of the bush and runs out towards you, kind of curving out this way to get within 5 feet and try and stab you with its single trident as it comes out of the north. Let's see if that happens. And that's probably not going to hit you an 8 as it sort of bangs off one of those rocks and does not hit.
Does not hit.
Dorn, you're up. Standing in the middle of these guys in your armor, sweating. Gross. Fair amount of BO coming off.
I'm going to do a double move to here.
Okay.
And present it a target.
Okay, so you come around the northeast side of that like wad of stones there.
Yeah.
Okay, and just do you get an attack, or is it too much?
No, I don't. That's
all right. So you get right up there in its grill, and you're like, "Rah!" And it does. It looks around at you, and you do seem like a much worse foe than Snapper, certainly.
right. So I'm going to present it fear.
Okay. Well, it certainly seems alarmed. I don't know if it's fear per se. These frog guys are definitely hard to read from an emotional standpoint. But it certainly looks like its attention is drawn away from Snapper. Beltran, you're up. You've got your arrows out. You're looking at these guys. There's a lot of your own guys in the way, a lot of bushes, a lot of trees. This whole place is a bunch of crap. What are you going to do?
Who can I see and who can I shoot from where I'm at?
Give me a perception check. 26. All right, so you flat out cannot see Heil and Lama down through there. There's just too much garbage in the way. You can see Snapper clearly. You just saw Bjorn sort of run around this wad of stones, but from where you are, I mean, you cannot see what it is he's gone to see. There's a wall right in front of you to the north right here, which is causing you problems. I mean, from an archer standpoint, that's a problem. And then there's this big piece of garbage here, which is causing you difficult time in seeing. So yeah, I don't think you can see either of the spoons at this point.
Okay. And my first thing will be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. For me to come to there.
Okay.
To look around.
All right. Give me another perception. 30. You can see both scooms now. You can see across the rubble that Snapper is fighting across. You see the big bastard, and then down to the south past Llama. You just get I think you can just get a hair of vision.
Okay.
Over there. So
I'm gonna take a single shot at this guy.
You gonna take a pop at that guy? All right, cool. Now he does have +2 cover. There's a lot of rocks around there. But I don't know that it will matter with a 23. That's going to hit him. Bam! It slams into this guy. It's the first time he's been hit. This arrow takes him sort of in the shoulder, glances off, flies into the back of the thing, but you've raised a huge cut on its bare shoulder in between its
add
leather.
2 damage to that.
No,
Phineas
I can't. Sorry.
Phineas has the Inspire Courage going on, right?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, add 2 damage to that.
Okay, so that arrow goes ripping across this guy's shoulder and off into the distance. But he's like looking around now. He felt it.
It added damage. I thought it only added to attacks.
What'd you say, Jennifer?
I thought it only added to attacks. I was checking. +1.
So attacks and damage.
Attacks and damage.
So you said that attack didn't hit him?
Oh, yeah, I see it. Okay, cool.
Go ahead, hit him.
Oh, I thought you said it bounced off his arm.
Yeah. That's
Well, it didn't stick in him. It sort of like went across him
cut him.
Cut him.
Okay.
So he's bleeding. That blue-green, sort of cold blood, kind of coming out of there. He felt it, but it wasn't much.
Okay, I'm done.
All right. So top of the order, Phineas.
All right.
Next to Beltran, he just shot a thing. You know what's going on. You pretty much can see a lot of things. You can't really see what's going on to the south, but you definitely see what's going on to the north. What are you going to do? You're singing away. Mission Impossible.
I am going to put to work my leopard print spandex and feather boa and cast Charm Monster on this guy.
Charm Monster. Okay. All right.
18.
What is your DC?
18.
Charm Monster. And that's a will
+2.
From your inspire, where you're inspiring courage, right?
Yeah.
Do you get +2 on spell DCs for that?
Do I?
No.
I don't think so.
Okay. I can ask.
All right, charm.
It is always better to ask forgiveness than permission, so.
Oh, okay.
All right. Will negate spell resistance. Yes. So let me check and see if this guy's got any spell resistance. He does not. What is the DC for his will save?
That's the 18 he was saying.
18? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Close.
Nailed it.
Very close. Close enough where I would probably give it to me. Ultimately, it's your call, though. All right, you successfully cast Charm Monster on the creature. So let's go real quickly what that does. It makes this humanoid or creature regard you as a trusted friend and ally. If the creature is currently being threatened or attacked by you or your allies, it receives a +5 bonus. Adding that to the 8, still screwed. So spell does not enable you to control him, but it perceives your words and actions in a favorable way. You can try and give him orders, but you must win a charisma check on anything with a 0. So basically, you've made a friend.
Okay, so I'm going to shout to Snapper and Bjorn and Beltran, we've got a new friend. Leave this guy alone. Leave him to me. And then I'm going to invite him back out of the battle scene to the Golden Arches to enjoy a snack of Tang and Twinkies.
What language do you use to talk to this guy?
What does he speak?
Well, that's a great question. I'm looking
I know
at
all
this.
about him.
I see his languages, and frankly, he speaks 2 languages, and if you have either of these 2, I will be shocked.
What are they?
They're Aboleth and Undercommon. Do you speak either of those languages?
Abyssal.
Nope.
No, but I am able to.
You're going to speak the international language.
The language of love? Is that the language of love?
I'm wearing spandex. I thought I told you that.
But I'm wearing spandex.
I love Charm Monster.
I have the spell of tongues.
I'm sorry, what was the name of that spell again?
Tongues.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so tongues, but you haven't cast it yet.
And I also have linguistics.
All right. Well, Aboleth and Undercommon are 2 very rare languages, neither of which you have. So it's unlikely that you could like ass into these kind of things. Now, tongues will certainly help you, but right now, even though you guys it considers you to be a trusted friend and ally, communication's a problem. Now you've yelled out.
I
Warren Strapper, back the fuck off.
Yeah, I just hold up my hands and just say, back up, stop.
To Bjorn and Snapper.
No, I've already shouted to them. I've got this.
So you're basically like stop. They're like making the universal gesture of quit.
I told them this guy is now my pal. Go focus elsewhere. And now I gesture to Frogman with the universal sign of chill out.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So you're moving forward to there. All right. This is cool. All right. Lama, you're up. Is that an attack?
That would be an attack.
That it would be a hit. Ooh, 24 points of damage. You slash this guy.
That was my second attack.
Oh, that's the second attack? That is also a hit. I am a little bit worried about this guy.
28.
28? That's 2 solid hits. You're whipping that sword around. Hal, you're a little bit freaked out by the fact that she's just like winging this bastard sword around. But she draws like, on one hand, she like cuts across the middle and raises a huge huge bloody stripe. It comes back across, hits him in the shoulder, and another like big crunch as he is hit. A lot of damage. There's a lot of that
You'll probably
blue,
sleep there, honestly.
that cold blood's coming out. Any other movement or anything like that? Do you want to take a 5-foot step or anything?
Nope, I'll stay right there.
Fiat, you're behind this guy. You've got flanking in a couple of different ways. You would have to take a 5-foot step to attack again. Do you want to stab this guy in that same kidney?
I start stabbing.
Ooh, all right. So you're gonna have to move forward first, move a 5-foot step, and then just like right back in the kidneys. You are Fiat Flatfoot, master of the kidney shot.
So, and I roll a d20 plus
4, I believe. Hold on a second.
d20.
Oh, you got flanking too.
10. I'm sorry, 10, and you are outside of the courage, so plus 10 only.
What's the
That include his flanking list?
I guess 2 for 1.
Plus 12. Sorry, that did not include flanking. Thank you.
Ready? All right.
Yep. 27. That's a solid stab. Goes sliding into this creature's greenish, slimy skin, and just like right into it. And you're pretty sure you hit another kidney. You're not sure where the kidneys on this frog guy are, but whatever you hit, if he has kidneys, you hit him.
Great, good. Can I stab him again?
I don't think you have a second attack. No, you just have the one attack. So just roll. But you do D4 plus 1 on weapon damage, and then another 2d6 of sneak attack as you have that flanking. So 4 points of weapon damage.
And d6?
2d6, yeah.
2d6, yeah.
2d6 plus what?
Nothing.
That's it. No,
Zero?
nothing.
Okay.
Just regular.
2d6. Here we go, and rolling.
5 more
5
points.
more.
Boy, you are letting out a lot of this guy's guts. He is starting to stagger around a little bit. There's a fair amount of blood on your blade, some on your hand. It's cold. That's the thing that you recognize, as you touch some of this blue-green sort of blood and fluid that's coming out of this guy. It's cold to the touch. And you get the impression that this is a creature of coldness. But you are stabbing it away. So, John Heil, you are up now. This creature looks daunted. He's staggering around. You saw Fiat just stab him right in the back. You could hear Fiat behind him laughing as he stabs him. What do you do? I'm sure you're gonna maybe try and make friends with him, might be happening up to the north.
Yeah. I'll do a poop check.
A poop check?
Full attack.
Full attack. Oh, okay. Oh, maybe not a full attack. Ooh, and that's a pretty low thing. I got to check his AC. Sadly, that is not a confirmed fumble. But your turn is over as you try to bite this guy and missed horribly, and your teeth snashing together as it dodged out of the way at the last minute, causing you to sort of do that ugga-wugga face that dogs and foxes sometimes do. Snapper. So you just heard Phineas behind you say, "Get away from that guy. We're friends now."
Okay. Then I am going to go over here and take a look around.
Go over to... Ooh, that was a mistake. Show me your path. I'm assuming your path was basically directly from one place to another right there?
Yes.
Is that right? Okay. So before you get to where you are, you get to here, and you find yourself on incredibly unstable ground because underneath where you are standing is a pit.
Uh-oh.
Give me a reflex save.
Great.
Ooh, that's not going to be enough. It's a 30-foot pit with spikes down at the bottom. You as you're making your way towards the arch, you fall directly in it. You miss it completely, and you take 3d6 from the 30-foot drop and another d6 from the spikes at the bottom for 4 d6 of damage as you fall in this pit.
That's just great.
Ooh, well, you do manage to minimize the damage, but give me a perception check very quickly. 30, you see that coated on the spikes, which you did hit, is some sort of clear goo that seems to be on all of them. That's a fortitude save. You look at the wound from thing, you pull away from the spike that cut you, and you look at the wound. It doesn't look like any of this slimy green shit that is on these spikes got into the wound or on your leg. You do see a little bit of it on your clothes. You wipe it off real quick, making sure not to touch it. But there is it. You look over and you see these spikes, which are scattered all over the place like caltrops. All have this green goo on them. It looks organic. You're not sure what it was, but you remember the stuff that the Ramawa gave to Beltran, and you were a little worried that there might you got any on you, but you did not get any on you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're down at the bottom of a 30-foot pit. All right. It is Frog Guy time. Frog Guy's going to attack Llama, full attack, as he tries her with the trident. Oh, yeah, that's what I love to see. Here's the confirm. No confirmation, but it is a hit. So he will do that. Trident gets you for 1d8 plus 2. 5 points of trident damage, and he tries to claw you and bite you at the same time. The claw, the bite. 17 hit you? I'm guessing no. Okay, so that is as far as he gets. The other guy is looking at Bjorn, and he's looking at Phineas. And Phineas, he looks at you, and you sort of see him sort of back off cautiously from Bjorn, because Bjorn hasn't attacked him yet. But he's sort of like come running up, and he's sort of like kind of like backing away from him. He's going to take a 5-foot step away, and he's going to look at you, Phineas, and he says something along the lines of, and he has if you could have a curious frog, that's what he looks like.
Okay.
So it's obvious to you that he's asked you some kind of question, but he's backing off. He's still got his trident pointed at Bjorn, but he's looking at you. He's like,
I just gesture back that it's okay.
You're like, calm down, that kind of thing.
Is he saying that in Undercommon, or is he saying that whatever the other thing was?
Like
as far as Beltran, do you speak either of those languages?
I speak Undercommon, but I don't speak the other one.
Okay, it's not Undercommon that he's speaking.
Okay, so I wouldn't even know he speaks the other one. So
you're guessing that it's Aboleth. So you wouldn't even guess that. None of you have ever heard Aboleth. Phineas, you know of Aboleth, and you suspect that this is Aboleth, but you don't. Yeah, you don't speak it or understand it.
Make him
Do I know the languages he speaks?
Yeah, you do. You know that these Scooms speak Aboleth and Undercommon.
Well, wouldn't I relay that to Beltran and?
Sure, you could, but Beltran would yell back, "That's not Undercommon."
Yeah, if you say that, that's what I'd say.
I'd say he speaks Undercommon. Damn it, he speaks Undercommon.
And Beltran's like, "But he's not speaking it now. What do you want me to do?"
Speak Undercommon, damn it.
Oh, so I guess he's saying that you should speak Undercommon to it. Something you might want to do later. Okay, Bjorn. Now you've seen this guy. He didn't attack you, but he backed off a little bit, and he's talking to Phineas in some language that you don't understand. Phineas yelled out, "Don't hurt him. He's a friend of ours now." So you're thinking that there's some sort of spell in play, but you're not sure what's going on.
I want to see what this. I wish I was watching this, Llama. I want to see what Bjorn does with that.
I'd love to see the look on his face underneath that big helmet.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah,
so
this is Bjorn's face.
yeah. At this point, I'll bite my tongue until it bleeds to not kill this thing. And it's considered friendly, so I can move through a threatened square.
Well, it's friendly to Phineas. It's not friendly to you. This isn't suddenly like he's suddenly part of the party now. He's friendly only to Phineas.
Okay.
So if you wanted to move through his square, that would provoke.
If Llama was sitting on your shoulder, she'd say, move through his square.
Yeah. So 5, 10, 15, 20.
So did you go through his square or not?
Well, I went from here to
Okay.
here.
So you went south across over the things. All right. So that's a
Here.
little bit of difficult terrain, but you still have. I think you still have enough to go.
So I guess at this point, if he wanted an attack of opportunity, he could take it.
He does not take it.
So I'm going to get over here and look down in the hole where my priest is.
He is watching you, though. Yeah, so you peek over the side of that thing. It is a cunningly designed trap. You see Beltran at the bottom of, it's like 30 feet below you. He's sort of like against the wall here, but it looks like he's managed to miss the spikes.
No, that's Snapper.
That's
Snapper,
Snapper.
that's what I meant. What did I say?
Beltran's back there
Said
being
Beltran.
tutored
Sorry.
on speaking undercommon.
All right, well, just go ahead and move Beltran in the pit, too.
Okay.
I remember undercommon nouns like
So it's 30 feet down.
Yep.
That thing didn't attack me, so I'm going to trust that Phineas has it in thrall.
Yep.
And I'm going to produce some rope to lower down to Snapper.
All right, so you're going to pull out some rope and start lowering it down.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, Beltran, you're up next. Give me 30 seconds to go take a whiz, and I'll be right back.
Take your time.
Yeah, take your time. Don't miss.
Fast moves.
I feel like counting.
So Andrew, is Phineas going to cast tongues, or does he want to be the go-between?
I will. Good question. If you can be the go-between, that would be good, because then I don't have to cast a spell.
Blow a spell.
So yeah, as long as he understands that you're speaking for me, then
I'm
that's
probably going to move up to you so he can see that you're talking to me, and then I'll say something to him.
okay.
It's not going to be what you said. I'm just going to make my own stuff.
Right, of course. I mean, that's a given. Yeah, I want to find out how pliable he is, if we can, what information, if he can join us, if he'll fight with us, if we can buy him off, whatever it is. Or
Charm person, he's a friend of ours, but like,
For now.
if he pays attention to this down here,
yeah.
that could give him another save. Or the fact that if we see more of his comrades up here and we say attack them, that will, he probably won't do it, and even if he doesn't, that might give him another save.
Okay.
Okay, well, then kill him if you have to.
We grab all the artifacts.
Tie him up in the arch. Let's see what that does.
All right, you guys do a quick perception check around the place. There's no artifacts that you see.
Dang it.
Sorry.
All right. I'm going to move over to here and talk with Phineas.
Okay.
And then turn around in an undercommon.
Okay.
Basically say, my friend here can't speak your language, but he would like you to know we mean no harm and don't attack, we won't attack you, you don't attack us, kind of thing.
Okay.
And I will say that in undercommon.
Okay. All right. So the creature looks at you very curiously, and in heavily accented undercommon, he says to you, "You him French?" Yes.
Yes. Yes.
No, her scum.
Right. We won't hurt you.
Oh, good. And you see him sort of like, he pulls back his trident and plops it into the ground. Yes. Why are you here?
As much as I can say it in a round in 6 seconds, I'll basically say
Well, it's a really long story, but it starts back when we were back at Cathera, and it was a whole thing. And so we worked for Master Bashir. It's great. Yeah.
I had a rough childhood, and then
All right, so he basically sort of like the next thing he says in Undercommon. It's obvious that Undercommon is not the language that he's used to using, but he says, like, why are you here? And so we'll get to that in a little bit. Phineas, you hear all this. It's your turn now. You hear them talking in Undercommon, which you suspect is Undercommon, which you do not speak. And they're obviously interacting in some way.
And when he asks me what I'm saying, I'm telling Phineas that I told him that Phineas has a crush on him.
Which, could be true. You never know.
Me like
cards. I mean, at this point, I'm
lusciously delicious.
So that's my whole round is spent talking and relaying back and forth.
All right, yeah. So I mean, 6 seconds is not a long time. You're just like, don't attack. We're all friends. I'm friends with him. You're friends with him. That makes us friends.
Let's see if he can help us get Snapper out of the pit.
Okay, next round I will do that.
Okay.
So either we can.
So what are you gonna do this round, Phineas?
I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna hold up. I think
you're gonna hold. So you're gonna delay until some other point in the round.
Yeah. Can I continue singing "Inspire Courage"?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm gonna delay because I'm in a good spot to give.
Okay, let me know when you want to insert yourself back into the initiative roll, and I'll move you down there. All right. Okay. Lama, was that an attack roll?
Yep, both of them.
Was that another one?
Yep.
Okay, the first one hits, the second one does not. So 19 points of damage. This guy is looking a little worse for wear. So 19. That sword is going to do him. You came up to him and just like got him an undercut shot, got him in the armpit, went in past the rib cage, gave it a little twist, got the heart and the lung. A lot of that blue shit just like pours out on the floor. He stands backwards. Fiat dodges out of the way and he falls to the ground behind that wall. As you could see the arterial blue spray just kind of like out of the ground. And finally, he expires.
Yay.
You whirl around. Go ahead and give me a quick perception check.
Let's see.
Okay, you are so focused on killing this guy that you know nothing of what's going on to the north. Fiat Flatfoot, you see this guy go down in a heap. You actually dodge a little bit out of the way as some of that blue shit kind of splashes up, but you're pretty sure that Lama just aced this dude. What do you do?
I shot Lama. Okay.
You shoot Lama?
Don't shoot Lama.
Don't shoot Lama.
Well,
I'm an archer and I've never shot Lama. There's a reason for that.
You haven't fumbled around me yet. That's the only reason.
that's why I haven't shot you. Yeah.
All right, great. I want to keep searching. First, can I search the body of this fallen giant thing? This
sure. It'll take this round, but go ahead and give me a perception check.
To coming up. D20 plus 14. Hold tight. So, 1, 4. Okay.
22. All right, so you go over and begin sort of like rummaging through this guy's personal effect. He doesn't have much. I mean, the armor he's wearing is made of leather. It's basically primarily composed of like straps of leather, sort of interwoven together. It's not much in the way of armor. You get the impression that it's designed to not be overbearing if this creature is underwater. You definitely get the impression that this is a water creature that just happens to be on land. It does have that trident. It has a couple of those shorter sort of tridents that are about javelin-sized, spear-sized for you, which they're not proper tridents, but because of the wood handles and the three prongs, they could be something. One of them is exquisitely crafted masterwork from your point of view. You suspect that these are throwing weapons as opposed to stabbing weapons. He never brought them out and used them. His stabbing trident is large. It's about 8 feet long, much larger than you could use comfortably. That's really all he has. He has no money. There doesn't seem to be any magic items on him other than this weird sort of leather armor and these weapons. He doesn't have anything.
Then, if I still have time, I would like to start to search the immediate area for traps or doors or stuff.
So where you are in behind this wall?
Correct.
Okay, go ahead and give me a perception check for traps when you get a moment. Remember to add an extra +2.
So plus 16.
21. You don't see any obvious traps back here. These walls look pretty broken down. This is just a nice sort of secluded area. It was a good spot for them to hide, but you don't see any traps. You do see that there is a sort of a gap in the wall over here if you wanted to sort of go that way and check out what's over there. In the sort of the back of the room where it was hiding, back there's a little bit of foliage, and then there's like a little pass through there which you could get through.
Can I go toward here?
Yeah, it's towards the west. Yeah, if you want to go that way.
Can I go here?
Yep.
Great. I will stop there and look around.
Okay, give me a perception check when you have a mo.
D20 plus 14.
All right, so Eric, can you see the fountain pretty well? Or is it blocked off for you?
I can see the northeast.
The north edge. Okay. Yeah. Beyond that, you see. So that 33 is going to give you. So you see another, like one of these cobblestone roads coming in from the south, and you see that there's another large one coming in from the west. It looks like whatever this building was, that there were cobblestone roads coming from the cardinal points, the cardinal compass points into this spot, all of them meeting at that arch. And there's a ring, a small raised ring above, sort of in the ground there. But beyond that, you don't see anything of interest. That's pretty interesting, but you don't see much else. There's a huge plant right next to you there. It doesn't seem to be doing anything crazy. It's more walls over to the left.
As I get time, I plan to just go slowly and walk around the map and check for traps, check for, say, giant 30-foot pits, so on and so on. And I want to sort of edge. I want to sidle up toward that fountain or that.
So you're going to start moving towards that fountain. You can't do it this time because you're looking in various kinds of things. But yeah, you could certainly move that way next turn. All right. Awesome. John Heil, you're up. You are pretty far away. You just saw Lama slay this guy. She looked at you and, you're like, aha. But give me a perception check. So, yeah, you don't know what's going on to the north either. You see sort of Beltran and Phineas standing around. There's another one of those frog guys off to the north. You see Bjorn standing by something over there where you can't really see. He looks like he's looking down at something.
We're so self-centered over here.
Yeah, that's a single move. I'm going to ask Phineas what the hell's going on up here.
All right, so you run up there, and you can see the pit. You see Bjorn has snaked a rope down into a pit, and you see that creature up there is sort of standing there with its sort of trident in its hand. It looks like it's talking to Beltran.
Okay. Again, Phineas, what the hell's going on up here?
Well, Snapper fall down, can't get up. Frogman.
Stop speaking Aboleth. Tell me what you're in.
Frogman friend Beltran talk.
Wow.
Okay. I got another move, so as he says that, I'm going to move up to try to see what's going on up here.
Okay. All right. So you get to the edge of that pit, and you look down, and you see Snapper down at the bottom. He's sort of like picking himself up. He looks pretty dinged up, but that rope is down there. Bjorn is holding a rope down there to help him get out of that. And you can see Snapper sort of like reaching around, ready to grab that rope. It's pretty obvious to you that Snapper fell down that pit. The first thing you think of is it could have been a lot worse, because there's a lot of like weirdly sort of constructed spiking things in the bottom of it. They're all like made of like bamboo or something like that.
This adventure is very anti-snapper.
No kidding.
Well, I've been trying to kill him for a long time.
Yeah, I see a theme.
But yeah, I mean, he seems to have avoided the landing on those spikes, but he's still down there. His ankle's a little twisted. It looks hard.
Again.
How you doing, Snapper?
Oh, I'm just having a day, sir.
All right. Snapper's turn. What are you doing, Snapper? So that rope is down there that Bjorn is holding on. He's like, grab the rope.
Yeah,
what do you do?
And I will. First,
so
couple of things. One, is there any other bodies down here, like something that's of value that?
No, it's completely empty. This trap looks fresh.
That's the Snapper we know and love.
As a free action, I'm going to
He almost
suggest.
hides it in a pit, and then he's worried about looting the bottom of the pit.
What'd you say, Chuck?
As a free action, I'm going to suggest he wrap it around his waist twice and tie it off, and I'll pull him up on my turn.
That's fine, and I will do that. The other thing that I would just see that you had mentioned that I recognize this goo that's on these spikes, and I mean, is it possible to scrape off a little bit to give it to, I guess it's Beltran? Any more of this poison stuff?
Roll to see if you're successful. Still want to do it?
You can poison yourself.
Yeah, you could maybe poison yourself if you try to scrape it off. But I mean, you can take a shot at it.
No, that's fine. I'm not immune to poisons and all that, so that's fine. Okay.
Give me a perception check. Do you and add any alchemy skill that you might have?
Which I have no knowledge of alchemy.
Okay, what'd you roll?
30.
30.
On a perception.
Well, it's definitely 30 perception. It's definitely got, this green goo on it. It's organic, and it's covering all of the spikes. So there's a fair amount of it around. You've got, you had a little bit of it on your on your trousers, and you sort of like knocked, sort of like reflexively sort of knocked it off, and you got a little bit on your fingers, and it made your fingertips numb.
That's fine. And the only reason I would say that I don't know anything about poisons and all that, but you said that he recognized that somebody else had given Beltran some of this stuff. And
well, it's not the same. Beltran got some, like a curare poison from the Rumawa that after they made friends with. So he got some poison that they typically put on their arrows. This is different from that. It looks different. It smells different. And like I said, you got a little bit on your fingers when you wiped it off, and it caused like a numbing sensation on your hand. Didn't last very long, but you think if this had been gotten into your bloodstream, that might have been a very different proposition. But it's not the same. It's not the same stuff that the Rumawa gave Beltran.
Knowing the luck that I'm having for this particular group, I'm like, this is not my day. I'm just gonna do it.
Grab onto it.
Right. Wrap the rope around my waist a couple of times. Please pull me up. With a very sheepish, like just shaking my head kind of thing.
Okay.
Have you ever had one of those days kind of thing?
Yeah. All right. My turn. The frog guy looks at you, Beltran, and he looks at Phineas, and he kind of is like, it's almost he's looking at Phineas for approval, and Phineas nods, and he looks at you and he says, I asked you, why are you here? In Undercommon. Why are you here?
I'll turn back to Phineas and basically tell him what he asked me. And say, do we want to say that we're chasing after some guys that came here and stole stuff? Because they're not going to like why we're here, but I'm guessing they were against the guys that came in earlier if we
He was probably
We tell
there
them-
to protect the stones. It's
If
probably
we tell them we're against those guys, maybe they'll tell us what happened and where they
Well,
went.
I would suggest we tell him that we are in search of ancient artifact. I'm trying to be diplomatic here, and
Okay.
I asked
These artifacts might be
Beltran, do you
theirs.
think
We're
I'm-
here to steal your ancestral shit.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I'm not saying that.
Saying that he's there to go after
I
them.
asked Beltran if he thinks it's better if I cast tongues on myself, or if he's cool with.
Well, I'm good saying this. I'm just
Okay.
asking all of us.
So I'm saying we're here searching for ancient artifacts.
No.
Why are you
No,
here?
no, don't say that.
I was gonna say Beltran will stop you right there and say, I'm not telling them that.
Okay, we're here because we heard that
We're chasing guys that were here a day or two ago.
Yes. All right. So
That sound good?
yeah, we're chasing guys who were here a day or two ago. And why are you here?
Okay.
You say that in Undercommon to this guy.
Well,
It's like,
I'm
we
talking in
came-
common to everyone else. And
Okay,
then I
so-
put the undercommon.
All right, what do you say to this guy? Like exactly.
Say we're looking for some people who were coming through here stealing stuff. We heard some of them are still here around, and we're trying to find them, bring them to justice.
You see him, he listens to what you have to say, and he starts to like laugh. He was like, yes, we saw those people too. Mistresses took care of them, all gone now.
Okay.
Stole from us. We will get what was stolen back.
I'll ask, as much as I can do it around, I'll ask
Right.
who the mistress is.
Mistresses. He says it's
Oh.
plural. Mistresses. They are. And the way he puts it is very strange. He's like, Master of the Rock. Masters of the Rock. You could tell that he's trying to figure out how best to say it in Undercommon.
And then he displays his hand like he's doing air guitar.
Yeah. Masters of Rock. No, he's like,
expecting Bill and Ted to show up here.
You can see the frustration. He's like, me say it wrong. They own the rocks. The rocks were stolen. They got revenge.
I asked him, can you tell us where they ended up so we can take proof back that we brought them to justice?
He points in the direction you came. He's like, they were that way. Chased them, stole them, ate them.
Oh.
So not that much proof left. Okay. So less proof than I was looking for.
Well,
Wait one day for proof.
I don't think I can identify that. Okay, I'm gonna stop and relay this. Are we out of combat?
No, you guys. Actually, you guys are out of combat. So, I mean, we'll stick with the initiative roll just to make sure everybody has a turn to do something. But yeah, we're kind of out of combat.
Technically, each round is 6 seconds, so it's not much of it.
Yeah, but other
If we're
people might
in
want to
combat,
do
I can't say
something.
too much more round.
So yeah, basically that's what he says to you. He's like, look, the mistresses. The question was like, who's in charge here? The mistresses guard the rocks, and he had trouble saying. He's like rocks, and I mean, but it's obviously stones is what he's saying, trying to say. They're in charge. They had these guys come and steal the stones. We chased after them. We captured them, ate them. It sort of jives with what you read in that guy's journal. Now, this does not explain the massacre that took place 4 miles from here, where these guys essentially assassinated themselves. This certainly does not explain that. But he does seem to say that there are mistresses of some sort, and that they guard the stones, and the Aspis guys came in, somehow managed to acquire some of them, tried to get away, and these guys grabbed them and didn't do it. But he's like, we haven't got the stones yet, but we'll find them.
Would I
I'm gonna
have
try my
any
best to
idea what he's
describe.
talking about?
I'm sorry. Well, Andrew, you go first.
Would I have any idea what he's talking about?
No, you haven't heard a thing. Everything is being translated to you by Beltran, who's speaking.
Who's relaying it to me? And do I have any idea who this master is?
No. I mean, you haven't seen anything like this.
So nothing in my mind says, "Oh, I know what he's talking about."
No, nothing like that.
I'm
Beltran
going to
will
describe
say
that mermaid chick to him and see if say are these the mistresses of whom you speak?
So how do you describe it to him in Undercommon? What do you say?
Well, whatever I can't see the picture anymore, but I would
So
describe whatever.
So there was this chick we met. She hung out in the water. Great rack. Decent keister. What you guys? Have you guys seen her?
I'm just gonna. I mean, did she look Elvis? Did she look?
She looked Faye, certainly. Yeah.
Faye, okay. I'm going to describe best I can and say, are these the mistresses that you speak of?
So you describe her, and you're like pale skin, shawl, Faye features, that kind of stuff. He's like, that is the mistress in the form she shows to the humans.
Okay. All right, then we saw one of your mistresses bringing to justice some of those guys.
She's over there, and he points off to the right.
Okay, I'm going to make sure everyone knows that hey, one of these creatures is whichever way he just pointed.
He just pointed off to the west from your point of view.
Hey.
All right, so Bjorn, let's whip through the initiative order real quick. Bjorn, what are you doing? All this is taking place. You see Beltran like talking with this creature, and it's got this kind of guttural language, which Beltran seems to be responding in kind to. You hear Beltran saying like, and the creature, and they seem to be talking. You see the creature sort of gesture over to the west behind you at the end of this discussion, but you're not sure what it's about. You're still trying to pull up Snap.
As soon as he says that, I make sure I stop and tell everyone. One of those mermaid chicks he just says right over there, and I point the direction he was pointing.
Okay.
Well, my focus at this point is to hoist Snapper up out of the hole.
All right, so it's going to take you 2 rounds to get him up, 15 feet apiece.
How much does this dude weigh?
400 to 600 pounds, I think.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Snapper, how much do you weigh?
400 to 600 pounds.
No.
Weight, indeterminate.
425.
Now, if this was Scott's character, just in the backpack alone, I could see him weighing.
Yeah, he's got like a wagon load of weapons back there. Snapper's human, so figure what, 180 to 200 max?
Yeah, right at 200.
So yeah, you should be able to get him
and I have a
up
strength
there
of 22.
Well, but you don't want to. I mean, you think you can haul him up? You think you can haul him up 5 feet a second?
Probably, but okay, we'll go with 2 rounds, so I don't jerk his torso off his lower half.
Well, you look down. He's got it wrapped pretty significantly around his genitals, and you're a little worried that
no, he's not worried.
Full strength tug.
Yeah, you're like just like yank him out and flip him out onto the ground. Yeah, 2 rounds.
He starts pulling up easy. I'm like, no. Haven't you seen fishing? You got to set the hook. You got to do that initial yank, and then you.
Yeah, you hear Snapper whisper under his breath, harder.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll spend the next 2 rounds safely pulling him out of the hole and getting him on solid ground.
All right, Beltran. What do you say? Belch, as I think your nickname should be. So you and Phineas are standing there. What do you guys do? Lama, you're up next.
I'm just going to ask. You said that she's over there. Are you saying one of the mistresses is over there?
Oh, well, she's right there.
I'm looking where
in her pond.
Okay, can I see a pond over there?
Give me a perception check.
It's the fountain. Isn't he talking about the fountain?
He's pointing right at it. I mean,
Oh.
you don't know, but
I can't see much. Is that a fountain?
yeah, that looks like the edge of a fountain.
I'm only seeing a little sliver of that. So
Well, so what's your sight range?
I've got 60-foot dark vision.
Well, yeah, but it's daytime out.
Yeah, so I can see just as well good as anybody else can.
Well, so what? 20 feet?
At least.
I'm gonna make it 60.
I think
See
it's
what
27
happens
perception.
there. All right, so you 27 perception. All right, so you look over there and you certainly can see the edge of some sort of, well, what it looks like is these sort of when you find a spring in a village somewhere, and they usually like plant like something akin to a baby pool or a fountain around it so that it catches the water, so that people have a place to come to and sort of fill up their buckets and their bottles and take back to their homes. That's what it looks like. It looks like a pretty large, I mean, to use modern terms, it's a pretty large baby pool. Probably a 3 or 4 foot ledge, and inside is filled with water.
At least from what I can see from here.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, she's right there. Mistress is there in her pond.
And I'll just say, is that where they stole the stones from?
Stones from down below.
Oh.
I don't go there. It's through the chamber.
And he points the same direction?
The tunnel. No, he points actually a little bit south. He points actually past where Bjorn and Snapper are going at that arch with the chain on it. He's like, down below, and he points at that.
Oh, okay. I said, are the other mistresses down there, or are they all up here?
Other mistress down there.
Gotcha. Okay.
She stays down below.
So there's 2 of them.
Not come above. Yes, mistresses, 2.
There's 2. Okay. This guy's been most helpful.
Yes.
I'm going to relay that to everyone.
What about you, Phineas? What are you doing? Now, you continue to hear Beltran talking to this guy. You have no idea what they're saying.
Well, he's been relaying it to me.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, yeah.
Sometimes, though, just randomly, I like turn around and point at Phineas and just laugh, just to get just keep him on edge.
Then I guess at this point I will cast tongues on myself.
Okay. So tongues, does it take a long time to cast, or is it a single action thing?
I think it's a single action.
Go to check, because I thought it was a full round action for a second there.
Oh. It's new to me, so I could be wrong, but
all right, tongues, casting time. 1 standard action. All right, so you have a move action there, but now you can clearly understand what they were talking about. Beltran's continuing to talk, and he's like, so what you're saying is that you have 2 mistresses. And the creature's like, yes, I have 2 mistresses. 1 below, 1 above. We protect the stones. And Beltran's like, that's very interesting. And you're like, they're speaking Undercommon. So, but yeah, so you could speak or understand any language of any intelligent creature.
yes. And I can still understand you.
You can still say, oh, that's funny. I get it. Negative experience points. So what do you? I mean, so you still have an action left. Do you want to say anything to this?
Yeah, I just where is this underground mistress? I want to meet her.
So do you say it in Aboleth or do you say it in?
I say it in whatever he understands.
Well, he understands both. You can tell that Beltran and he are talking in Undercommon. So that would be Aboleth. So this is a difference between High Elven and Dwarven shit slang.
I like shit slang.
You hear these words coming out of your head that are sibilant but elegant at the same time. They have this sort of weird undersea sense, but at the same time, you can tell that it is an ancient and glorious language. And you're speaking these words, and you're saying, "What do you say to him?"
I say I would be honored to meet your mistress underground or down under or whatever.
Okay. He turned his head just kind of like, he's talking to Beltran, he's looking at Beltran, and then when you say those words, he just kind of looks over and he says, and it's a very different voice than what he's speaking to Beltran in, and he says to you, "You speak the language of the masters. Are you a master?"
Well, yes, I suppose.
When someone
I am.
asks you if you're God, you say yes.
That's right.
Forgive me. I have been. I did not realize your shape is quite different from the other masters I have met. My name is Ukotoshkaya. I am at your service. Order me, and I will obey. What is it you wish, master?
How many more of his kind are around here?
You see, so from your point of view, you've been talking to this guy in Undercommon, and all of a sudden, you hear Phineas sort of. It's this weird, sort of very trilling, sort of beautiful language.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy just is like, he's not even paying attention to you anymore. He turns over and he responds in the same language to Phineas. And you can tell that whatever they're talking about, it's a much more sophisticated level of language than you are. And but you have no idea. I mean, you've never heard this before. And you're looking at Phineas going, the fuck, man? Where did you come up with that shit? But Phineas, this guy basically says, I apologize that I did not recognize you as a master from the start. I'm at your service. My name, and he gives you his name. He's like, Ukotoswa. And he says, I am at your service. Command me. I am at your disposal.
So,
ask how many of his kind are around.
Are there others like you nearby?
My kinsmen have been waiting in these woods for interlopers at the behest of the mistress. She has told us that you would be coming, or potentially would be coming, and that we need to be ready to attack at that point, which I assume my cousin has done. Another of my cousins waits in the woods. Shall I call him forth?
Make sure that you let them know that we are friends, and then yes.
Actually, are you relaying this stuff?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Okay. I would say
telling everybody. I'm translating as I talk.
I would say when you tell me that, I would say, why don't you tell him to go help the guy out in the woods guard, because there might be someone coming. Because I want as small battle as possible whenever we go see this chick over here in this pool. I don't want her to have a bunch of allies around.
I'm not sure I understand what you're saying. So
send him off into the woods to help guard this area so he's not here.
Why wouldn't we ask him to help guard us?
The charm spell will not have him do something that's against his nature.
But if he thinks I'm his master, it's not against his nature.
I'm just going by the spell. The spell's not dominate, it's charm person, which means they're just friendly. They're not going to listen to your every whim.
Okay.
And since these chicks, these whatever things are his true master, if we start attacking her, worst case scenario, he's just going to flip and be normal again. Best case is he just gets another save because we're doing something that, or asking to do something that's against his.
So, all right, then tell our allies hiding in the wood that their friends are here, and we would ask them to guard us while
stay out there and keep things away.
Yes.
All right. Are you guys fighting yet?
Oh, totally.
Okay. All right. So what's the plan?
Well, I think we're gonna go for the mistress in the water and the mistress underground.
All right, what are you telling these guys? So he told you he has a cousin in the woods waiting to be drawn forth, and that his mistress is in the pond. But there are two mistresses, but they did not realize, and he continues to refer to you as master. He goes, we did not realize that there were masters here. I apologize for for attacking you. That was wrong, and I hope you will forgive me.
Of course I forgive you. That was an honest mistake. And I'm assuming and convey to my peers that it could be that his cousin in the wood is the guy who's now a bloodstain.
No, he's pointing in a different direction, to the north, to the north and west.
Okay.
He says he has another cousin to the south, but he doesn't, But you ask him, I mean, he's pretty sure that guy's dead. I mean, he's in line of sight with Lama.
Oh. Yeah.
How far is the guy in the woods? And this is all going through Phineas.
Yeah, I'm translating back and forth.
He's only perhaps 20 to 30 meters from where we are right now. He's hiding. We are adept at hiding in the jungle when we are not in the water. He's adept at hiding. I can call him forth if you wish.
Which direction is the water?
It's to the west. It's probably 200 yards to the west.
That fountain?
I would send him to the water.
No, the river.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I would send them to the river and say, I think we heard those guys are coming up from the river, so go to the river and protect us from there, just to get them way away from here.
Phineas?
I say, and I would like to offer you a gift. What could I give you to show you my friendship?
He sort of backs off a little bit, and you can see him sort of plant the thing in the ground. He's, Master, you are too kind. I have transgressed against you already. I cannot possibly accept a gift from you. My gift to you and my apology will be to serve you well. Order me, and I shall do everything in my power to ensure that your orders are carried out.
So I ask him if he's hungry, if I can feed him, and then.
Master, I am well fed by the mistresses, and we have recently fed on humans to the south. I could not ask you for any more.
Very well. Then if you can guard us, where?
I'd send them to the river. Say we've heard there's more at the river, so if you can guard there.
I relay that would be the best service you could do for me, and I would be forever grateful.
And take your cousin. Have him take his cousin with him.
Yes, of course. Ellie Mae, take Ellie Mae with you.
I shall gather my cousin and head to the river, and we will watch for more humans. Is that what we shall watch for?
Yes.
Yes, or any other threatening presence.
It shall be done. He stamps his trident into the ground, and he's and you can hear him yell. And out of the you can see out of the woods comes another one of these creatures. He sort of steps out. He looks over, and he's kind of cranks his the metal rod of his trident into the ground as well. And you see this one go. He talks. He bows to you, Phineas. He says, "It shall be done. We will wait there until we receive further orders from you. Good day, Master." And you see him sort of like just crank out here, and they begin loping this way. As they go through this sort of like pass through over here in the things, and they go and they disappear as they lope away, you hear actually give me a perception check, especially you, Phineas, because you hear tongues.
Okay. Get to the dice roller. 25.
Okay. You hear a woman's voice off over there as they pass by, and you could see them. They sort of look over as they pass by, and you can hear her say, slaves to the aboleths. I wish we had better servants. And it's almost wistful, but it's also speaking in aboleth.
Okay. Well, I relay that to everyone else, and I lament with her. You just can't get good help these days.
You like yell out, "You just can't get good help these days." You say that in aboleth?
No.
Or in common?
I don't say it at all.
Can't get good help these days. They just be tripping. So,
Bitches be tripping.
I'm thinking it.
Do you say anything out that direction?
So I'm huddling with my peers saying,
Okay.
here's what I heard this voice say. Should I commiserate or should I ask her to step out and identify?
No. That means she knows we're here and she knows what we're doing. We need to engage her quickly and take her out before she brings allies in.
All right, before we go any further, Lama and Fiat, you guys have been down in the south there, sort of sitting on your hands for a while. What are you guys doing?
The frogman just ran off.
Well, I mean, I don't know how much. Yeah, you probably would have seen part of that. I know that Fiat has kind of like wended his way around over to the west. You would probably have been looking to the north eventually. And yes, both the guy that was attacking from the frogman that was attacking to the north was speaking at first with Beltran and then with Phineas in two different languages, neither of which you know, and then it took off.
But I've been translating, so I speak really loudly. So I assume she knows something.
You would have probably heard, you're what, maybe 30 feet away? You probably would have heard some of it.
I rolled a 22 perception.
Okay. Yeah, you probably would have heard like that, this thing thinks I'm a master. I'm speaking to it in Aboleth. I've told them to go down to the river and guard against more humans coming up the river.
Did I hear that the mistress was in the pond?
Yeah, you probably would have, yeah.
I definitely said that when I found out.
Well, that's where Lama would go.
All right, so you're going to where? Stop. All right, so where are you going? Is that where you're going, right there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to need a reflex save.
To go here?
Show me where your target is. Where are you going?
I run out of movement right here, 75 feet, 80 feet.
Okay, so
You're gonna fall in a pit.
Yeah, I need a reflex save.
I'm just telling you.
You get to about there.
There. There's a pit. There's probably a pit here and a pit here.
Yeah, you hit a pit. So I need a reflex save.
I'm coming.
Okay.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Nat 20. You imagine the ground begins to give way, and you're like, oh, fuck, pit. And you manage to sort of sidestep, so you miss the pit, but you're just sort of like, whoa, and you stop there as you realize that there was a 30-foot pit, and then down at the bottom is a big wooden homemade rack full of spikes pointing upwards that you're like, fuck, if I'd have fell in that, I'd have been hosed.
You heard a snapper say, show
But you do
up.
not, but that stops your forward motion. You stop there.
Okay, I'm done.
All right, Fiat, what are you doing? You were sneaking along the side there. You see Lama come up to the other side of that wall, and she kind of like, whoa, kind of like, manages to dodge her way out of a pit. What are you doing?
Make sure that Lama is okay.
They seem to always all be on the path, so watch the paths.
Right. I want to keep checking for these pit traps, and my goal is to find and mark all the traps.
Okay.
So can I just proceed west and
Sure. So what you can do is you can go half speed and check for traps as you go along. So give me like a perception check. Go half your speed, and you can basically say I'm looking for traps all along this line, and you give me a perception roll, and I'll tell you if you find any. You do not find any traps between the point that you left and the point that you are at right now. That's one action. So now you get one more action where you can go another, I don't know what your speed is, but I'm assuming it's either 20 or 30. So you can go another 10 or 15 feet.
20.
Okay, go ahead.
Go here.
Okay, give me a roll. $21. You do not see any traps. However, you do see something else interesting. So as you're looking forward over towards the west, to the northwest, you see this big, remember that fountain you heard, that burbling, that little bit of water that you heard? So you can see, you get a clearer look at it. And you can see that somebody, I mean, it's a big fountain. And you can see that there is a creature, a woman, sort of reclining in the fountain. She has a large pipe.
Huge tracts of land.
She has a large, like 2-foot sort of clay pipe that she's holding and smoking. And she's got one handle on the side, and she's just like sort of sitting in this bubbling water. And she's kind of looking at you, and she's kind of looking down towards the middle of the thing. She's sort of switching back. You could tell that she definitely sees you.
Only he were invisible.
Point taken. All right.
She looks at you, and you could see her sort of mouthing some words. I mean, she's like 60 feet away. And in your head, you hear an incredibly pleasant voice say, "Hello, small one. I'm so glad that you made it here. I apologize for what had to happen back at the camp where those other people were. Perhaps we can come to some sort of arrangement. I hate, sometimes I must apologize. I have been abrupt in the past, but I understand now where you're coming from and where your friends are coming from. And perhaps we can come to some sort of a mutually beneficial arrangement. I feel that you might be the best person to talk to about that. Why don't you come closer and let us talk about it? I promise, you have my word. I will do nothing to injure you or put you into any danger of any kind. You have my word. I'll tell you what, it's tempting. It's a lovely voice. What you can see, she's a lovely fey woman, some sort of nereid or something like that. It's incredibly attractive, much more so than any centaur you've ever seen.
He whips out his piece of paper and starts writing a poem.
I was going to say, there's
don't make him write poetry.
Feel the poetry bone kind of like coming up, and you're like, oh man, I don't know what to do. But yeah, she seems very reasonable. She seems very attractive.
He writes a poem, we get nuked from orbit.
That's what happened to those guys on the Sulaco. One bad poet ruined it for everyone. No, so Eric, what do you guys? So what does Fiat do? So I mean, you hear this in your. I mean, you can see her sort of mouthing the words, but you can hear her in your head. This is obviously some sort of telepathic communication.
Right.
Are you gonna let us know that?
Hey guys, she is talking to me. Can I do her perception check, please?
Sure.
And I want.
What are you looking for?
Oops.
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 I want to look for I don't know human body parts, anything that seems out of place.
Other than a woman in a hot tub, 40 miles from the coast, in the middle of a jungle. No, everything looks fine.
Can I do a perception check just for grins? All right, here we go.
Yeah, go ahead and roll it.
Thank you. And boom. 5.
19, not great. Not terrible, but not great. All right, so to your eyes, I mean, she's sort of like lounging in this fountain. And, frankly, she doesn't look that out of place. I mean, she looks very comfortable. She doesn't look frightened at all. you can hear her voice, and obviously that she's, you know, talking to you and everything. Her voice is very, very pleasant. She's very pleasant to look upon. She seems genuine in her interest with you guys to maybe come to some sort of arrangement. You're not sure what that arrangement might be, but frankly, I mean, you don't see anything obviously problematic outside of the point of the thing that there's a woman in a hot tub 40 miles from the coast in the middle of the jungle.
Okay.
Who's attracted to you?
Can I, all right. So is she talking to me in my mind?
Yes, she is. It's definitely, I mean, you could see from where you are, you could see her lips moving, but you're too far away where you wouldn't necessarily hear her, but you definitely hear the words that she's saying in your head. So it's probably a combination of voice and telepathy of some sort.
Great. Shit.
I think you should, if there was a time, oh, sorry, go ahead. What were we saying?
I get to use the same quote twice, 2 different weeks, 2 different teams. Never trust a beautiful woman, Fiat, especially when she's interested in you.
Uh-huh.
Oh, all right.
That'll come back and haunt Eldar, I'm sure. But
I'd say, you know, madam, I'm talking in my mind. I say, ma'am,
not in front of the boys.
Right. Ma'am, can I make you a cup of tea?
You have the makings of tea with you? I would welcome a cup of tea. I've been in this jungle for so long that I can't even remember the last time I had a proper cup of tea. I would welcome that. Please come forward. Again, I assure you, I will do nothing to harm you.
Let me just check my pack to make sure that I have tea.
Of course.
And check the tea here. You know, Les, I have a masterwork halfling sling staff.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a boulder bullet times 50.
Yes, you do.
All right, good, great. So I'm rummaging for tea, but what I'm really getting out is my sling staff and my bullets.
Okay.
And
all right.
Making some tea here for you, ma'am. Just hold tight. Let me just make sure that I've got it all set here for you. And right. Do you like your tea black or with a little cream?
A little cream would be lovely, although I find it shocking that you have any cream this far in the jungle with the humidity and heat here that it hasn't curdled. I prefer green tea, but if you have black tea, that's fine too.
Ma'am, I'm full of surprises. I'll be right with you. Let me just prepare some tea, because you know it's civilized to have conversations over a cup of tea. I have just black tea, but I'm sorry about that. But I will be right there. Hold tight, please.
I prize civilized behavior, and I am in your debt. Please, whatever tea you may have, I welcome it.
Yeah, this from the guy who just boiled all the water out and tried to burn his kitchen down.
Yeah, good point. He's making tea. We're all fucked. Get out of the way.
Can I get resistance to fire, please?
All right.
All right. So you're digging in your pack, and you get out your sling staff and a boulder bullet.
Yes.
Okay. So the boulder bullets you have, remind me again what size they are. Are they the light, the standard, or the heavy? I think they're the heavy, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So they are the heavy. All right. So basically okay. So, all right. So what are you going to do?
You know, she's obviously trying to murder us. as a human hobbit, I have qualms, reservations about it's real. I can't hit a woman.
Okay.
Let me see. You know, she's gonna have to try to hit me first.
She has made no aggressive movements to you at all.
All right. You know what? I'm gonna keep.
Give me a round. I'll fix that.
Just tell her her dress is a little too tight. That's all it'll take.
Or ask her how much she weighs or how old she is.
Yeah, that'll work.
Are you pregnant? Congratulations.
That's a great one.
You know what? I'm gonna keep rummaging for tea for the rest of the round.
Okay, so you're nicking around in your backpack, but you've got one hand on your sling thrower and you got one hand on that thing, and you're just kind of like hanging back. Okay, so the rest of you, it goes back to you. So there's another Lama. You just managed to avoid a pit. John Heil snaps. You just witnessed like Bjorn sort of crank Snapper out of the pit. You guys are starting to look over to the west, and you can see that there's a large fountain, or it's not a fountain because there's no water kind of like spraying up, but it's a large pool of water, the rim of which is maybe 3 feet off the ground, and there does seem to be a woman sitting in it. She has an incredibly long pipe, which she seems to be smoking, and she's got one hand along the thing, and she's sort of looking over sort of in that direction away from you guys, but you see her eyes sort of flicker over every once in a while. John, you would definitely recognize her as the Nereid you saw in the river.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk over to Llama and say, "Go get that bitch."
Do I hear that?
Yep. I'm not saying it quietly.
Watch the paths for things. All right, I've got a spell I want to cast. Are we in initiative yet, or are we still?
No, you guys are still out. I mean, you guys are sort of like wiggling around. You guys are still 60, 70, 80 feet away.
Llama starts going towards the pond.
Nope. Before they do anything, I moved right here and cast a spell.
What are you casting?
Blessing of Fervor.
Does that get everybody? Yep, probably. It's 40-foot radius, right?
30. So as long as I'm going to move 5 more feet, but then yeah.
Okay. So Fiat, you see Beltran casting a spell, and you start to feel sort of thing. This is a combat spell. I mean, you're starting to feel the energy within you. You're guessing that these guys are going to attack.
So just to reiterate to everyone, every round you can choose one of the following effects, and you can change it each round. Either increase your speed by 30 feet, or stand up as a swift action without provoking attack of opportunity, or make 1 extra attack as a full round action at your highest base bonus, or gain a +2 on attack rolls and AC, and reflex saves.
Master Hobbit, you hear in your head this woman's voice. She goes, "Your friends seem aggressive. They seem to be making maneuvers as if they were going to attack me. Please, on my behalf, approach them and tell them that perhaps parley might be much more suitable. I hate to get into an uncivilized interlocutor action where we might not come to a mutually successful agreement. I have no wish to kill these people. I have no wish to kill your friends, Master Hobbit. I only wish to address their concerns and find out what they want so that we may come to a mutually satisfactory arrangement. Tell them, please."
30 feet away?
No, he's about 60 feet away, but it's like telepathy.
I
What do you say, Fiat?
I think back to her. Madam, feel free to flee.
I have no wish to flee. Honestly, my sister has sent me here to parley, and I hope to do both.
Who's she?
My sister below.
Below.
Amongst the stones.
with the stones? There are two of them.
The stones which the other humans sought, they sought to steal them. We obviously cannot allow that to happen. My sister guards them. I deal with those up above. But I've had my fill of killing. You do not seem like you are come here as thieves or in the night. You've come here open and honest, and thus I would parlay before fisticuffs takes place. You've killed my friends and chased my friends out of here. That's all right. I forgive you of that. But I would prefer that we talk rather than fight. Because frankly, you do not know the depth of my powers. And your friend, who the shape changer, has seen the depth of my power, and I'm glad that he is okay now, but I was provoked and I was rushed. Otherwise I wouldn't have done such a thing, but I can do such things again. And I don't wish to. Perhaps we can talk rather than fight.
I must advise you in the strongest terms to flee immediately.
I cannot flee. I am locked here by chains that you cannot see, but are more binding than iron. The stones keep me and my sister here. We must protect them.
Why must you protect these stones?
It is foretold. There is nothing I can do. I could not explain this to you if I had 100 years to do so. Nevertheless, let me assure you that it is binding contract that I cannot break.
Binding contract.
We can take care of that.
Out of the blue, you hear Beltran yell, "We can take care of that! We brought a lawyer!"
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
What was your blessing of fervor? What was the save against attacks? Against what kind of attacks?
It's a +2 reflex save. If you choose the
Okay.
the +2 attack, +2 AC, and +2 reflex save. That's one of your options you can choose.
How long does it last?
8 rounds.
8 rounds. Okay. Just want to make sure for next time, because we are rapidly approaching the 11 o'clock hour.
Right. Yeah, all right.
Gus, I'm going to cast Enlarged Person on Ray.
All right.
I don't know if she's immune to this thing.
You mean Lama?
Yeah. To Lama, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Ray, that's a name I haven't heard for a while.
That's a blast from the past.
Blessings from Sherbert reminded me of Ray. That's why.
That's a good one.
All right. So you see John Hyle reach over and touch Lama on her shoulder, and while she obviously enjoys that touch, suddenly she begins to grow larger and becomes bigger. Anything else before we stop? Any other preparatory activities?
I think Llama's going to go ahead and rage this time.
Whoa! You hear as she grows larger, you hear her screaming out her orcish battle cry, "Death, kill!" And then she pulls out her giant sword. Anything else?
Madam, I say again, you should definitely flee if you can.
And she looks at you, and you can see her mouth the words, "That orc woman will belong to me very soon." And that.
So, hey, since we're all doing these prep spells, I'm going to cast Bless.
You cast Bless? Okay. How long does that last?
Combat. It lasts for minutes per level, I think. It's combat.
7 minutes.
Okay. So the woman in the pond says to you, Fiat, she will belong to me very soon. You see Lama sort of grow to this 12-foot creature of battle, and you see her sort of like swat her sword into her hand, and she's like, "Ah!" charge, and begins to run forward. Everybody else is sort of looking around and that kind of stuff. And that is where we will stop.
All right, beautiful. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
So awesome night. I love it. Thank you guys. And I did actually do a video, so that will be posted probably tomorrow.
Excellent.
Hey,
All
Les,
right.
around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye, all.
All right. See you guys.
Bye, all.
Good night, you guys. Thanks again.
Right.
Awesome
Thank
night.
you. Next time. Thank you. Good
Yeah.
night.
See ya.
Good night, folks.
Eric, I need to talk to you at some point this week. Give me a call and let me know when you're ready.
Cool. All right.
All right, brother.
I will. Good night.
Don't
Take
you
care.
can stick around, actually.
No,
What?
I need to talk to him about some other stuff. So we'll reach out later. Eric,
You want me to
I'll
stick
reach
around?
out to you later on.
Good night, friends.
All right. Thank you, brother.
Derek.
Good night.
You guys are still planning on going to Indianapolis for Gen Con?
You are.
Yeah.
Are you up for maybe another camping weekend or just like game all weekend?
At Gen Con?
No, not at Gen Con. Because you'll be too wrapped up at Gen Con. You got too much going on.
Well, it's not going to be as busy as it was last year. That's for sure.
Yeah, and last year's was a different
Yeah.
thing. So we got together and talked about this. Doug's absolutely right. We felt that a couple of things happened. One, we got involved in too many things. Second, we got involved in the wrong things. So we're going to be very much more judicious about what we do. And part of that is like saving some time to do some fun things outside of like the game convention itself. So I'm going to get together you guys, you remember I don't know if you, Jennifer and Gordon, you guys did, but I know the rest of you guys met my cousins. They're moving to Indianapolis, so I probably will take a night off to have dinner and go out with them. Just we're all gonna like set out some time so we can have a little bit more fun. A little bit not as frenetic a pace.
Well, I was just proposing, and maybe not this year, but at some point, I thought it might be fun, the people that like to be outside and camp over the weekend,
Mhm.
set up a camp, like a tent, and then just run a game through the weekend that we just hit for
Well,
hours.
like on your property, that kind of thing.
No, or on our property maybe, but more so like somewhere close, somewhere within an hour and a half, like an easy peasy distance.
Outdoor game. I'm
Mhm.
down. I'm down.
Yeah. No, I would like that. Yeah, that'd be fun.
I think that would be awesome.
More alcohol than necessary because we're not going anywhere, and some camp food and just a game.
I think it'd be great. I think it's a great idea.
Well, if you guys are up for it, then I don't know who else is campers. I mean, I don't know who other than the four of us. Because obviously Mike Phillips is.
I have a feeling that there are a lot of like closet campers in the background that would love to go out and camp in the woods, but don't have an opportunity to.
Yeah, so
Well, and
maybe,
they also might not be able to afford the whole weekend,
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
like this year, I don't know if you kept up with it. My goal is to attend Trade Day, which is the Wednesday before Gen Con. So I'm going to be there to look at, taking some, looking at some other things about developing some games for, for my own use. But
well, I'm just talking about like some other weekend other than Gen Con.
well, yeah, I mean, there are plenty of camping sites, around the area. I mean, or we could, gee whiz, if you wanted to go as far, you wouldn't even have to use, there's a down at the Current River, we could even run inexpensively a cabin.
But that's
And,
like 3-hour drive.
It is a little bit farther than like an
I
hour.
was
Yeah.
thinking like Ren Lake.
Cabins around Merrimack Cameras. That's good.
Yeah, Merrimack.
Ren Lake's awesome. There's a lot of great fishing there too.
And they're always empty. Like you can always get a spot at Ren Lake. And the showers are decent, and that's a good place.
I've never camped there, but I've fished there and it's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I think it's like an hour and 20 minutes, so that's easy to get to.
Mm-hmm.
No big deal. Well, you want to put it out to the people that game on Friday night and Saturday night?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll send you some weekends that might work too. I'll do that right now when we get offline.
Okay.
I'll send
Okay.
you, Doug.
Yeah, that's keep me put me in the loop. So yeah.
I just thought it might be fun, something different.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. It would. It sounds like a summer thing that everybody's out. Where we don't have to worry about weather, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, is this still raining? It's
Well, we can set up a
raining
tent.
over
I mean, it'd be smart to set up one of those tents over a couple picnic tables. So if it rains, whatever. you
Yeah,
know.
or some sort of pavilion or something.
Yeah, we've got one of those tents. So
I think that'd be great. I think that. I think that would have a lot wider attraction than just our little group.
yeah, that would have a greater appeal.
So
Yeah.
who's the DM? Who wants to DM it?
Well, I'll definitely DM one shots and what have you, but we
Gordon's
might have to get some more DMs. I mean,
Gordon's saying his game is ready to go.
oh yeah,
Well, then that's it.
then we're in. We're in.
All right. I'll send you some dates. You guys let me know.
Okay,
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
sounds good.
All right. Night.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right,
Bye.
See you guys.
see you guys.